should have been, might have been the face mask.
All right, we are live.
We up.
Good
up,
morning.
Just like that.
Good morning.
I
We are up. Yeah, no.
I didn't even check my camera. I didn't even.
Oh,
I didn't
man,
even
yeah.
check
I'm
if my.
springing it on Nick. We're kind of cobbling it all together this morning.
Okay.
But what's going on, everybody?
I think people are still a little slow to trickle in this morning, which is actually in our favor right now.
Yeah.
I need to see this. I need to see my. I don't even know if I'm lined up. I don't even know what my camera looks like right now.
You look all right.
It looks fine. Oh yeah, I see that. It looks fine.
In your Eagles robe, I see you.
Yeah, the Eagles robe is actually not exposed from the picture. And let me see if I can.
I like the hoodie too. The hoodie's dope.
The hoodie's a nice touch.
Star Wars, I can't hate.
Yeah, it's
Or I can hate. I just choose.
Oh,
choose
I
not to hate.
I can definitely
hate.
on
I
Star
just
Wars.
choose not to hate. Speaking of hate, yo, and we were talking about it off stream. How are you gonna eject Michael Pittman like that?
That was.
How are you gonna eject Michael Pittman for getting pushed into an opposing player's fist and falling over?
That was
one of the dumbest calls I've ever seen.
That was pretty stupid. I mean, I saw him push. I'm forgetting who the defensive back was.
Kyle Duggar.
Yeah, I saw him push him, but like that happens every game.
Yeah, so throw a flag, but don't eject him from the game. That's
Right.
That's crazy. And I know, like, I was relying on him last night. Didn't look great, even when he was playing. But yeah, I was wrong about Pittman yesterday. I take that on the chin. I was wrong about Pittman yesterday.
Pittman and Stevenson both flopped.
That too. Stevenson. Yep.
But I was pretty bullish on Stevenson. So,
I mean, we both were. That was an L for the whole channel. But
yeah,
you were not on. I think it was Ayuk and Pittman versus Ayuk and Higgins, and you went Ayuk Higgins, and I went
was originally
Ayuk,
on Ayuk and Higgins.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So
I kind of let myself be talked into Pittman though, just because he has been a steady floor play for the past few weeks, even though it hasn't been spectacular.
And the usage was there before he got ejected. He got 5 targets thrown his way. He only caught one of them because Carson Wentz is terrible. But
yeah, we saw Carson Wentz's deep ball touch come back last night in all its glory. Early in the game, overshot a wide open Pittman.
He completed five passes last night. I think I believe that was the total.
I mean, when you have a player like Jonathan Taylor in the backfield, obviously it makes it a lot easier for your offense.
Yeah, but he threw 12 times. He completed 5 passes. That
not impressive.
No.
Not impressive.
But what's going on, chat? Danny Boy YouTube, what's going on? Dirtbag, what's up?
Everybody?
Joshua, what's up?
Yeah, Stevenson flopped last night.
Yeah.
Expected a better showing.
So that just
I know
means
the matchup
we gotta.
was tough by the numbers.
That just means we got to turn it around and go high upside. If you started Stevenson this week, if you started the guys like CEH this week, you got to go high upside. So, if you have any questions or concerns regarding if you're gonna switch somebody out from on your bench to the wide receiver 3 spot or something like that, just to give yourself a little bit more of a chance, let us know in the chat. But let's get down to this chat, bro.
Yeah. Hopefully a little better. Hopefully a little better advice today than the Stevenson plug.
Yesterday
night.
wasn't. Yeah, Stevenson Pittman yesterday was not a good day for either. But we
like
were
said,
we told everybody to continue to start Jonathan Taylor, so hey.
Well, shit, that was easy.
Yeah.
And the Patriots defense also flopped too. That I don't totally put on them though. There was a blocked punt.
It was just a weird game, dude.
Blocked punt that was obviously immediately returned for a score. Nothing you can do about that. And they were put in some bad situations
bottom
last
line,
night.
Early in, even in the worst matchup of the year, basically, Jonathan Taylor's RB1. even in the one of the worst matchups for him, the Patriots are known for taking the number one playmaker out of the game. He only got one touchdown today. 170 yards, but he only got one touchdown today. But he's still, even on his worst day, he's an RB1. It's crazy.
Yeah, he'll be the top pick next year in redraft leagues everywhere.
Yeah.
So,
where do you think Christian McCaffrey goes? Where do you think Saquon Barkley goes?
Second round.
Where do you think Zeke goes?
Probably low end of the first, but that'll be a bad ROI.
Yeah, running back is going to be interesting going into next year's draft for sure. For sure.
We're going to see some flips at the top.
Yo, Danny boy, not a good start in your playoff matchup.
Yeah.
Stevenson only gave you 5 points. Oh man, we're sorry
Upside.
that we recommended Stevenson last night. That's an L. Nobody could have seen that one coming. I mean, maybe somebody did, but not us. So hey, we apologize for that.
Thought he would do better.
Who are you playing? That's going today. Let us know. And Dirtbag, good morning.
Thanks, Eric. Good morning.
Joshua, what's going on? Lost 3 wide receivers to COVID. Got to start 1. Play Rondale or pick up MVS on waivers, PPR.
I would pick up Valdez-Scantling.
I think Valdez-Scantling is the safer bet.
Yeah, the Ravens
and the more
are
high
susceptible.
upside bet. I think he's both.
Ravens are susceptible to bigger plays. It was a Lazard week last week. I think there's a decent possibility that pivots back to MVS. This week, in a game where Packers will be might be looking to take a shot or two against the susceptible secondaries.
Yeah,
so,
and they've been one of the hottest teams
I would go MVS.
lately, and Aaron Rodgers has been on fire. So I know MVS didn't capitalize last game. It was an Allen Lazard game. The 2 games before that, the pendulum had firmly been swinging in MVS's favor. I think you had said something like he had 24 targets in the 2 games prior to last week.
I think it was like 19 or 20.
19 something. It was approaching that. It was impressive. So I would go MVS because not only is he a good bet to pick up some PPR points, getting a fair amount of targets, he has that high ceiling. Rondale Moore right now doesn't have a high ceiling. He's a low ADOT player. Might catch a lot of passes, but like 8 targets go for 50 yards, something like that. Mm-hmm. So I would go MVS.
Yep.
And who are you dropping for MVS though? Let us know, Josh.
Yeah, let us know.
Andrew JF, what's going on? Good morning,
Andrew.
Good day. Dirtbag, any new COVID news?
Not that I've seen.
Not that I've seen either.
Let me just I'm checking Sleeper because I'm at the very start of my day myself, so I haven't seen a ton of new news come down on the wire.
Tony Pollard is expected to play 12 snaps for what that's worth. That's not COVID news, but he's not expected to play a lot, even if he plays.
I don't know how you can quantify that right now coming into the game. Like,
I mean,
he's going to definitely play like 12 snaps.
That's what they're saying. So that's all we have to go off of. Antonio Brown, it looks like Antonio Brown is expected to rejoin the Bucs following the conclusion of his 3-game suspension on Monday. So AB is going to be back, and as soon as he's back, he's a wide receiver 2 until further notice.
Yep. Lamar is unlikely to play, but hasn't been ruled out yet. So obviously we got
Lamar Jackson unlikely to play in Week 15.
Yeah, I said that was my update just now. So we got to downgrade all Ravens pass catchers. Devontae Freeman might be okay, but we got to downgrade the Ravens offense with Lamar out. Zach Ertz is expected to play. He's fighting a hamstring injury.
Connor too.
And Connor expected to play. Hollywood Brown is expected to play. He's getting over a midweek illness. No
Gordon,
COVID-related
DJ Moore,
news.
Both expected to play. But no COVID news outside of that one report that we reported on our stream last night.
No new COVID news. as of right now. But we'll obviously try to keep an eye on it throughout the day, throughout the morning, and anything that comes down, we'll of course drop it here.
Yes, sir. And Dirtbag, your opponent got a couple of Rams in. Who is he going? Henderson, Sony Michel. Who's he got in?
He gets Darrell Henderson back, so that would be a boost theoretically. Tyler Lockett.
Well, your opponent's got a couple of Rams. Who's
that game? Yeah.
Which Rams?
I'm just like it's if it's COVID related, is it Odell? Is it Darrell Henderson? Those are the guys on the Rams that were
true.
That's that was.
Technically, Van Jefferson's negatively affected too. So if it was Van Jefferson, that's a negative effect there. Joshua, it's a Superflex Dynasty 10 team. I would drop Cam Newton, still have Tua, Kyler, Tannehill, Watson. You would drop Cam Newton. Superflex Dynasty 10 team.
He's got Tua, Kyler, Tannehill, and Watson. I mean, Tua, Kyler, Tannehill. Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with that since it's it is Dynasty and Cam is back in the NFL, but he clearly looks like the most replaceable of those options.
Yeah. I'm confident that you wouldn't be starting him in the fantasy playoffs at all moving forward or even in the next year, but I still don't feel great about dropping what is a starting QB with rushing upside for a wide receiver.
If it's a must-win game and you're not playing Cam
in Superflex,
if it's
a must-win game,
it's a playoff game, right? It's a must-win game. Do what you have to do. Do what you have to do.
Yeah, I'm not hype on Cam, but it's a quarterback in a Superflex Dynasty, and that's a tough give up. And Bender, hey, what up, Bender?
What's going
on? Appreciate you always showing support. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Even throwing the supers when he doesn't have a question, bro, dude. Yo, Bender. Thank you.
Yep. Appreciate you, man.
Yep.
Appreciate it. With Cam, I mean, again, you have Kyler. He's locked in as your QB1 moving forward. Tua, you have to be feeling better about in recent weeks. Tannehill is still a viable option, and we'll see what happens with Watson.
I think I lost your camera.
You lost my camera.
Your camera is frozen. Yes.
Oh, okay. Hang on.
But I agree with everything you're saying. To continue along that route.
Well, let me try to fix this and then.
Yeah. I mean, I might have to send you the Zoom link again, and then you
take the reins for a minute.
Yep. Cam is not a long-term option. He's not a short-term option. The only thing that gives me pause is the fact that he is a quarterback and it is a Superflex league. But it being a 10-team league just means that there's a little bit less competition there. All the Superflex Dynasty leagues that I'm in are 12 teams, so I guess Nick is right. And you got Watson waiting in the wings. Watson, the news this past week was good on Watson. His agent had come out and said, he's still going to be an all-pro at some point in his career because he was an all-pro for like 5 years in the past. When he gets a chance to step back and do an NFL starting QB role, he's back there pretty much automatically, and I would tend to agree. The question is just like, when will that happen? But considering it's Dynasty, and Tua and Kyler are both young quarterbacks under the age of 24, I believe. And Tannehill, I believe he's under 30. I believe he might be 30, under 30. You're set up at QB. You don't need Cam Newton in the short term or the long term. So I guess if it's a must win, got to pick up MVS, and it has to be a must win. You're in the playoffs, then go for it. I guess I agree. But it's the only situation in which I'm dropping a starting quarterback because he is still the starter, I believe, in Carolina for a wide receiver in a Dynasty Superflex league because there's only 32 starting quarterbacks. I guess I would do that. I
missed a little bit of that, but I think I'm back up and running.
You are back up and running.
Boom.
Good stuff. Sorry about that, guys. Technical difficulties.
Yeah, sorry, but that was just a weird glitch. I don't know. Sometimes you just can't do anything about that. Anyway, long story short, you're probably playing a playoff game,
cam.
Joshua. Do what you got to do.
Yep.
And I prefer MVS over, don't drop Rondale. Obviously, Rondale's got a nice little bright-looking future.
Yes.
But I'd rather play Valdez-Scantling today.
And how old is Valdez-Scantling? I know Aaron Rodgers is due to be out of there, but so is Devontae Adams. You could be looking at a Allen Lazard, MVS, Amari Rodgers trio there moving forward with Jordan Love. In Dynasty, I don't hate that, especially since Robert Tonyan.
I don't like that because of Jordan Love, but he's 27. He'll be 28 next October.
Hey, if he becomes the number one there.
Sell high if today.
Yeah, so that's still an asset in Dynasty, bro. If you can sell a projected number one in the off season when hypes can get you pretty far. I mean, I don't want to get stuck in the weeds here about a Dynasty situation here. But bottom line, we both agree. Drop Cam. And MVS might have some value moving into the offseason. So keep an eye out for that, and we will stay tuned because we plan to have a ton of Dynasty content coming in the offseason.
Yep.
Dirtbag, my opponent's using Pollard, so that sounds good. All right.
Yeah, he's only expected to play like a third of the snaps. So.
Yep. And he has OBJ, Henderson, and Sony Michel. Okay.
Henderson coming back kind of muddies the waters for him. He only has to pick which one he wants to start.
Or he might be starting both on a Melvin Gordon, Javonte Williams kind of what he's hoping for.
What you can do, but it caps the upside of both of them.
Yep.
Oh, Andrew.
Bender, thank you again. Andrew JF. Thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate the super.
What currency is that? A?
That might be just a typo.
Well, either way, thank you.
Either way, need 2 wide receivers.
Malcolm
Hollywood,
Brown. Marquise
two.
Brown, not Malcolm Brown. Sorry.
Hollywood, DJ Moore, Thielen, Van Jefferson, Parker. The Thielen.
Is Thielen back? I don't know if Thielen is back.
Thielen, I think it's a high ankle sprain. Makes this.
He would be the guy I would go with if they were all healthy.
Oh, it's Australia. Oh, holy hell, that's cool.
Yeah, what up, bro? All right, hey, weren't you from Queensland?
Oh, it's hard to keep. Sorry,
so I got a friend from Queensland. Maybe that was it. But I know I remember you being from Australia.
That's
nice.
right. I'm
nice.
It's hard to keep track of all of these, but it's still very cool.
Yeah, it's
cool
pretty
regardless.
dope. Hey, Australian football, we gotta. I know that's a thing. I don't think I've ever seen it. I know it's a thing. But hey, glad you're here with us anyway. Marquise Brown, DJ Moore, Thielen. I mean, Thielen would be the guy that I'm going with if all were healthy, but he's not, and he might not play.
The problem with playing Thielen is he hasn't practiced all this week. He's less than 100%, but he's questionable for the game, which is Monday night. He could play. I think what I would do, I would play Parker because Parker's the healthy one here Van Jefferson is. And as
Parker's,
well,
I mean, sleeping on that, Parker's got a lot more upside than I was giving him credit for yesterday.
Parker looks good with no Jalen Waddle against the Jets.
Yep.
Hollywood Brown is coming off an illness, and Lamar looks unlikely to play. DJ Moore has a hamstring injury and has
playing against the Bills.
And a musical chair situation at quarterback. I would play Parker, and I would slot in Thielen. And if Thielen is out, you still have Van Jefferson for Tuesday.
I would go with that. The only thing about DJ Moore isn't going to be going up against Trey White because Trey White is out for the year.
Yeah.
So, DJ Moore, I know he's playing through a hammy right now. He does get a little bit of a boost from me because, I mean, we've seen number ones get shut down by the Bills in the past, but that was when they had Trey White out there. So this is a little bit more in DJ Moore's favor. But all else equal, I'm playing the healthy guy, so I'm playing Van Jefferson. And honestly, I think OBJ being out there might help him a little bit.
I think DJ Moore has to be downgraded by like a decent amount.
Probably, yeah.
It might, like, the first series might be Cam, and then the second series might be PJ Walker,
Yeah.
and it might be a musical chair situation all game long. Like, and Matt Rule, again, how much stock can we put in coach speak? Matt Rule has said, "Oh, we're going to keep playing 2 quarterbacks." If you have 2 quarterbacks, you have no quarterbacks. This is not a good situation for DJ Moore and the hamstring injury.
And then, pretty soon they might have 3 quarterbacks. So yeah,
nice.
With Darnold coming back.
So I can't start DJ Moore with any confidence today. I'm going to play Parker, and I tentatively have Thielen penciled in. If Thielen is active for Monday night, you have no choice but to play him. If he's out, you can swerve to Van Jefferson, who plays on Tuesday. That is what I would do.
Yeah, and I think Parker's the low-end wide receiver 2 this week. I think Thielen is always a high-end wide receiver 2 whenever he's playing. And Van Jefferson, he's right on that super high-end wide receiver 3, low-end wide receiver 2.
He's on the because he's been capitalizing in limited opportunities.
So, yeah, really, with all those options, you really can't go wrong. That's a good group to choose from. So, yeah, I would go with that advice.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
And Bender, uneasy feeling playing Barkley today over J-Dubs. Who's J-Dubs? Javonte Williams. But those knee injuries can sometimes be something that he has to sell a game or sees benched in the first season. Yeah. I don't know how I feel about that.
With Javonte, Vic Fangio said he shouldn't have any limitations, and he returned to practice on Friday. I am not concerned about Javonte's injury status going into this game, personally.
Neither am I. I mean, if I'm concerned about I'm concerned about Barkley's too, because Barkley is seemingly always dealing with an injury these days.
Williams is splitting work with Melvin Gordon. That's obviously no secret.
True.
Saquon more or less has the backfield to himself. Williams has been the much more explosive and consistent player this year. Saquon delivered it last week, but it took until garbage time to do so. Not that nobody cares in fantasy how long it takes you to deliver or what the situation is, as long as you deliver. So the points are the points. But it's a tough matchup for the Giants today against Dallas. They are at home.
Isn't Jake Fromm starting for them though? Not even Mike
actually. Is that the case?
I believe those were the rumblings.
I know Daniel Jones was not ready to return yet. I don't see Glennon on the injury report, but obviously that could just mean he was just benched. I don't know who's gonna start today. Let me check that really quick. I can't believe I think I still lean Javonte Williams. The Giants beat writers, according to them, it seems inevitable, quote unquote, that Mike Glennon will be benched for Jake Fromm in the coming weeks.
Okay, so maybe
that doesn't
not
necessarily
today.
mean that it's happening right from the jump today, but it could happen by halftime if he's awful.
Yeah.
If Glennon is awful, or if it's just like another bad showing today and it happens next week. Basically, the whole situation on the Giants offense is in flux and is gross. Not that Denver is that much better. Not that Denver's much better, but Denver has been running the ball with a lot of success this year.
They've done one thing consistently very successfully, whereas the Giants haven't. So I agree. Running the ball is Denver's strength, and it's, I mean, Javonte Williams does it better than most in the NFL.
Does it better than most?
Rate. Yeah.
Does it better than most. His explosive rate is stupid. I understand being worried about the leg injury. Here's the if you prefer volume, if you prefer the volume, then the argument is in Saquon's favor. If you prefer the player who has been better this year, it's Javonte Bender. Saquon's got the pedigree and the backfield to himself on a bad offense. Javonte is splitting work efficiently, but still splitting work with Melvin Gordon in a slightly better but still not that impressive offense. Both are at home. Both have okay matchups. I personally, maybe my love affair with Javonte Williams is just
I think I gotta back you up
now. But he's my slight edge.
Back you up.
He's my slight edge, despite the sometimes I'm almost done, John. But volume is king. This is the worst
volume. That is the worst volume in the NFL right now with that offense, especially if they're choosing between Glennon and Jake Fromm. And Javonte Williams right now, he's on that Aaron Jones tier for me already. He's there because he's done the most on minimal work. Not minimal work, but he's splitting the work, but he's doing the most with it. Still performing like an RB1 in like half of the weeks where he's getting half of that half a workload for Denver, and that's without an elite quarterback. So take name recognition out of it for Barkley. I'd feel confident starting Javonte too. These past few weeks, he's done nothing but show out. 2 touchdowns last week, one on the ground, one through the air. I mean, keep rolling with Javonte. He's. I don't want to go there, but he reminds me of Jamal Charles. That's all I want to say. That's all I want to say.
I think he's a little bigger than that, but
but you know what I mean though. Hyper efficient on whatever work he's getting.
Yeah, he's gonna be good for several years.
Yep. And Andrew JF, that's you. All right, word. Dope.
There you go. Before you keep, I think we missed a question from Jay.
Did we?
Yeah, between the supers. Gallup, Ayuk, James
and
Robinson.
Eduardo. Sorry about that, guys.
Yep, we'll get him. Gallup, Ayuk, James Robinson, pick one for the flex. My first question would be, Jay, what's the scoring?
Mm-hmm.
That would help. The scoring here would help. Is it half? Is it full? Is it standard? I think I lean Ayuk here. 49ers are playing pretty well recently, and it's a great matchup against Atlanta.
In standard, Robinson I think I'm going Robinson. But
Robinson has a great
PPR
matchup.
Format, I'm going Ayuk.
Full PPR, I want to play Ayuk. Robinson has an argument in, I would say, definitely in standard. Half PPR is where the split might come in. But let us know.
And we both like Gallup a lot. High-end wide receiver 3 for the rest of the fantasy playoffs with wide receiver 2 upside. But Ayuk is just a little bit safer, a little bit more secure. Same upside there.
Mm-hmm.
And in standard, James Robinson is going to be the starter, and he doesn't have. All the narratives in his direction.
Houston,
the narratives in his direction.
Right, against Houston, yeah. But scoring would help. And then Eduardo Schultz or Freiermuth. Schultz has been a firm tight end 1 this year.
I believe he's tight end 5 on the year.
Something like that, yeah. Like firm tight end 1, not low end. He's in the tight end 1 conversation. Blake Jarwin is still on IR. I've not seen an update on Blake Jarwin. This is Schultz's job.
Okay, he's actually tight end 6 because Dawson Knox moved ahead of him. But TJ Hawkinson's in 4th, so take him out of the equation. He's a top 5 tight end for the rest of the fantasy
top 5
players.
rest of the season. Yep. Schultz.
And sorry for missing those. Thanks for catching that.
Yep.
And Slim, what's going on?
What's up, Slim? You already know.
Yes, sir. And Dirtbag, I think I'm going to use the Lions starting running back.
Craig Reynolds?
Yeah, it's not Chase Edmonds. I believe the next best option is Booker. I
would play Reynolds over Booker. Jamal Williams is out,
but
right?
Don't they have to elevate Reynolds again? And they have yet to do that.
Have they not?
I believe he went back down to the practice squad. I'm not positive. Is he due to be?
I'm checking the Lions Twitter account.
Yeah.
Activated, blah, blah, blah. Elevated Craig Reynolds from the practice squad. It happened yesterday.
Okay, so he's back.
Greg Reynolds has been activated, so he's back.
Yeah, you can start him. RB3 is what you're hoping for. Flex RB3 play.
The only thing you have to be concerned about with this type of situation was Reynolds a 1 week wonder? Did they like the specific matchup and situation with Reynolds just get that game? Do they pivot back to Jamar Jefferson or Igwebuike? I hope I'm saying.
I mean,
that
they didn't pivot. Igwebuike was still involved. They didn't technically pivot away from him.
Fumbled.
They pivoted away from Jamar Jefferson. I don't really
Jamar
think
Jefferson's not fully healthy.
Yeah,
last I
too.
checked.
Yep.
Yeah, not fully healthy, and I haven't seen a new update about that. So it's a roll of the dice. If Jefferson is more healthy, this week, and I don't see an injury designation for him, like Jamar Jefferson could come back into the mix today,
It's
and
a
Craig
messy
Reynolds.
backfield, man.
It's a roll of the dice. Like, I'm not banking on Craig Reynolds to duplicate last week's production or amount of
your
touches.
next best option being Devontae Booker isn't. I mean, with Saquon all the way back, isn't one I want to rely on either. Is there anybody else out there? I mean, if you're choosing between those two, probably not. But I guess I'd go Craig Reynolds because they did opt to activate him again. They could have just let it be with the fullback that they have. I'm forgetting his name, and and Jefferson and Igwebuike, but they're not. They activated him again from the practice squad. I think that means that they intend to use him. That didn't lead to a very high-scoring fantasy outing last week. He was just the best of the bunch. And I'm worried that could happen again, where he's just the best of the bunch, but you're still only getting, I don't know what he got you last week, but 6 to 8
I think
points.
he had like 83 rushing yards. So
okay,
that's a flex play.
Yeah. I would out of those options between Booker and Craig Reynolds, I would be fine with Craig Reynolds, and I think he has a chance to. He's a good bet to lead that backfield again. I just don't know how productive he will be and how much of a value he will be
last week
starting for you, but points are points.
This is on the Detroit Free Press, one of their stories from Friday. Jamar Jefferson last week against the Broncos while battling an ankle injury. I'm reading word for word in the article. While battling an ankle injury and after missing a day of practice with the flu, played just 3 snaps and did not have a carry. We have to account for Jefferson potentially having more of a role today. So again, you can fire up Reynolds if it's like a Hail Mary situation. But we got to keep expectations on the lower end. Sounds like Jefferson might mix in a little bit more. I'm not too worried about Godwin after he fumbled twice last week.
Yeah.
So just throwing it out there. Jefferson might be more involved and was their draft pick. So keep that in mind. Reynolds, I think, was an undrafted free agent. Jefferson was their draft pick. I think it was like 6th round or whatever. So
Reynolds was an undrafted free agent that had bounced around the NFL.
So
it's not even like they just handpicked him. He had bounced around the NFL.
I understand if desperate times call for desperate measures. I understand that. I'm just cautioning. Let's not automatically assume Reynolds gets the lion's share of work today again, with Jefferson probably a little bit healthier and not sick anymore. Just mentioning that, because last week going into the game, we would have advocated for Jefferson.
Absolutely, we were advocating for Jefferson.
So I'm almost inclined to say maybe try to go back to that well.
I mean, who else is out there, man? If your choice is Craig Reynolds and Devontae Booker, who else is out there again? But between those choices, I'm going Craig Reynolds. I don't feel great. I think there is a good bet. Not a good bet. There's a good chance that he starts again. I just don't know how productive he's going to be. I'll go back to that.
Yep.
But Slim, you got to choose between Gallup and AJ Green in the flex PPR, and then he's got a kicker whisper question for you. But which way are you going on Gallup versus AJ Green PPR?
So Probably leaning AJ Green without Kyler or without DeAndre Hopkins. AJ Green, I saw this on Yahoo. I don't just randomly know this off the top of my head. The only thing is AJ Green hasn't scored since week 6. He hasn't had a touchdown for like 2 months.
Hey, you could have fooled me. I would have thought you knew it off the top of your head. So,
well, thanks. Yeah, hasn't scored since week 6, so we have to take that into consideration. Now, obviously, 3 of those games were without Kyler Murray, so that definitely caps anybody's upside. But against the Lions on the road in the dome, nothing scary about the Lions secondary. Not that there's that much scary about the Giants defense either. It's just the difference is AJ Green has a better chance of being his team's top option in the passing game than Gallup does.
Yeah.
So I lean Green, Slim, just based on that. As for your kicker question,
I will say Gallup is about as safe as they come.
Gallup is safe for sure and should probably come through.
But I would lean AJ Green high upside this week.
I think AJ Green's got some upside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Gallup, super safe option, and he's a good guy to be in the position to swerve out from and in the playoffs for sure.
Yeah.
And kicker whisperer question.
So, why is Zortline? He's not on the injury report, is he? No, he's not. I like Zerline. This is a similar situation that he was in last week with Washington. The opponent is bad, right? The opponent stinks. When your opponent stinks, it creates opportunities for your defense to create short fields. For your offense, creates more scoring opportunities, right? You could say the same thing about Jake Elliott against... Actually, you could say the same thing about these other 2 guys. The difference is, because Jake Elliott's on the Eagles, McGoatson's on the Bengals, I think it's fair to say of those 3 teams, Dallas is probably the best. And if you were a betting man, most likely that would be the team you expect of these 3 teams in these 3 matchups to win the game, right? Dallas against the Giants.
Yeah.
Eagles, Washington's more of a coin toss. Bengals, Broncos. The Bengals should probably win, but they are on the road.
Eagles,
and
Washington is slightly more of a coin toss, but not much with Kyle Allen in there, and with Terry McLaurin banged up. I mean, and with no J.D. McKissick most likely. I mean, and Ricky Seals-Jones instead of Logan Thomas. I mean, the Washington football team I don't think it should be much of a competition for the Eagles, even if they're forced to start Minshew. I'm
gonna say Zerline. We're splitting hairs a little bit because it's three kickers who I like in 3 positive plus matchups. The Giants are actually giving up, from what I can tell, according to Fantasy Pros, top 7 kicker production on the season. So that coupled with the Cowboys just being better than the Giants, and if the Giants are down to Jake Fromm at quarterback, it could be a similar situation as last week, where Zerline ends up with like 3 or 4 field goal opportunities because the Cowboys are leading the game, winning the game in the second half, and they're tacking on points. The same narrative played out for Zerline last week against Washington, and he hit. MetLife is always a little hairy, a little dicey as far as kickers. MetLife Stadium and that East Rutherford, just that geographical region is notorious for creating weird wind swells, and that stadium being weird for kickers. It's notorious for that. But as long as the weather isn't too bad, and the last I checked the weather reports in New York, the wind isn't supposed to be too crazy. And I'll check this one last time. Zerline would be my pick. If we're looking at a situation where it's all of a sudden 15 plus mile per hour winds, then I would say let's go to Jake Elliott because he's at home in a in a decently similar situation. Okay, you know what? 10 to 20 mile per hour winds in East Rutherford. Okay.
Yeah, we went over that a little bit yesterday.
All right, I was thinking it was like 10 mile per hour. 10 to 20 makes this a little more difficult for Zerline. John, can you go to the next question? I'm going to quickly look up the weather in Philadelphia for Tuesday.
I'll go to Slim's next question. Ugly running back play this week, so pick 2 PPR. Devontae Booker, Sony Michel, Rashad Penny, Jordan Howard, Salvon Ahmed. Rashad Penny is in there for you this week. And then out of Booker, Michel, Howard, and Ahmed, I'm probably going Michel, even though Henderson is back. Because I don't know how much work Booker's been getting with Saquon in there. I can't advocate starting Saquon's backup.
No.
Jordan Howard is enticing. I don't know what the status of the whole backfield is right now. I mean, it's still a 3-headed monster. Sanders is in there getting a lot of work. Gainwell's been resurgent of late. I don't know how much work Jordan Howard's going to be getting, even though he was very productive with the work that he was getting earlier in the season.
I think if he's healthy, he's gonna cause enough issues for Gainwell.
So are you going Howard or Michel there? And then we'll get back to the kicker question. Okay.
Sony. Just because, the Seahawks are a defense to target. Seahawks are a defense to target for running backs.
Penny and Michel.
So even in a reduced role, Sony. And Slim, just to wrap things up, I'm going to actually swerve slightly on the kicker question. I'm going to suggest Jake Elliott. The wind in East Rutherford today is slightly worse than I originally thought, 10 to 20 miles per hour. If it was like 10 to 15, that would be my cutoff for being like, okay, fine, Zerline. But because they're willing, the forecast is saying up to 20 mile per hour winds, let's pivot off Zerline. The weather in Philly is calling for less than 10 mile per hour winds on Tuesday when that game kicks off. I feel better about Elliott. The Eagles should have enough scoring chances against a Washington team that has completely failed to meet expectations on defense and is still decimated by COVID.
There you go. The kicker whisperer speaks.
Yep. Jake Elliott is my call.
And Chosen Rose, what's going on? AJ Green or Russell Gage? We're going AJ Green here. And you got another question down below. I just want to get to real quick because that's an easy answer for me. Zeke over Jeff Wilson. And I believe you would go the same way.
Zeke over Jeff Wilson. Gage, the Falcons get the Niners today on the road. Let's see it one more time from Gage. 2 is whatever the old saying is, but 3 is a trend. If he does it today, then Gage is officially a guy that I would, depending on your options, would be like, yes, we have to start him. We have no choice at this point. But today, in a great matchup in Detroit, nothing scary about that matchup. AJ Green.
And I mean, for what it's worth, this Russell Gage was a guy that last year put up wide receiver 3 numbers with Julio Jones in and out of the lineup. And
right.
Julio Jones has been gone the entire year, and everybody was of the impression that Russell Gage was going to be their number 1 wide receiver. It turned out to be Cordarrelle Patterson. Their number 2 wide receiver. It turned out to be Cordarrelle Patterson, and then Calvin Ridley's gone. So one would think that Russell Gage, he's a good bet to get the week in, week out volume, which is what you're chasing. It is what AJ Green is chasing right now too. But we do just need to see it. We're both not huge Russell Gage fans, so we need to see it one more time to really believe in it and trust it in the fantasy playoffs and the most important matchups of the season. So yeah.
I mean, he's been doing it the past couple of weeks, but I like AJ. I like AJ Green. Also, one update we did not get to this morning, John, real quickly. Antonio Brown is reportedly expected to return to the Bucs.
I did say that earlier.
16. You did? Sorry.
Yes. When we were going over the news, and when I forget who it was, but somebody asked about COVID.
I totally missed.
COVID
I
news.
missed that. I totally missed that. My bad.
COVID news question. Yeah,
Okay.
I talked about it there. I didn't get into it, but I mentioned the update.
Well, yeah. All I'll say is if you held Antonio Brown at this point, keep on up to this point, keep on holding.
Yes, sir.
Xavier, good morning.
Xavier Dubs, what's good, yo?
What's going on?
Duke Arrow, what's popping?
What's up, Duke? Start KJ Osborne, Donta Foreman, or AJ Green.
What's the format?
Scoring would help. I think I lean Foreman here a little bit just because the Steelers, go figure, the Pittsburgh Steelers, the usually rock solid, steady as hell Pittsburgh Steelers defense are a run funnel this year. I know the game is on the road for the Titans, but Foreman reestablished himself as the lead option in this backfield last week.
Yeah, he did.
I think I lean Foreman.
Foreman's got the safer floor, and if not Foreman, if it's
Foreman's
full
a floor
PPR,
play,
then I'm
Green's
guessing I'm going AJ Green over KJ Osborne.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
Duke, I would say regardless of scoring, if you feel like you can play it safe, Foreman. If you're looking at your matchup and you're thinking I need an upside play, AJ Green.
And yeah, AJ Green is still a play this week. He's still the play this week, and Knox is a top 5 tight end. And he missed games this year. He is the number 5 tight end in the league, and I believe he missed 3 games when he broke his hand.
Yeah, he's been balling.
Right. Yeah, when he's playing, he's top 3. When he's healthy and playing, which he is right now, he's top 3. And I don't think the shakeup with Emmanuel Sanders and them moving more to Gabe Davis and getting Gabe Davis more involved is going to take away any from Dawson Knox. I think it actually helps him because it just means the offense is going to, I believe, get rolling a little sooner.
Good.
So I still like Knox as a top 5 TE this week, if not higher. And yeah, you said Knox is 5. Put some respect. Yeah, sorry about that with the Schultz. Schultz was top 5 earlier in the season. If you look back a few weeks, from week 1 to week 12, he was top 5. But taking into
we're
account
basically
the last
putting
2
Knox
weeks,
4. Knox is really 4 at this point because
Right.
Hawkinson is done.
Right. And we got another kicker question.
We'll put even more respect on Knox's name. Yeah, Elliott or McPherson. So Slim had a similar question.
Yep.
I'm gonna rock with Jake Elliott here. The argument in McPherson's favor is that he's kicking at altitude today in Denver, so those kicks could sail. Like he could kick some bombs. But we're talking about very specific scenarios where the Bengals stall out on offense, like around the 35-yard line twice, or even once would be great. And then he's got to hit a 50-yard kick on the road, which he can do. But those odds feel a little longer. They feel a little bit longer. The Bengals offense is good. Top to bottom, definitely better than the Eagles. But to that point, maybe that means they complete scoring drives more frequently than the Eagles can. I would lean Elliott at home against a Washington team, again, that has been decimated by COVID. Not much weather to speak of Tuesday night in Philly as far as the wind. I think I saw like 5 or 6 mile per hour winds. That's nothing. If Washington is down to like a 3rd string quarterback again, the Eagles defense isn't spectacular, but they're opportunistic. So if they get those chances, create short fields, Elliott might see a couple extra scoring chances here and there. I'll say Elliott at home.
There you go.
Let me just, John, if you could go to the next question. The last thing I'm going to do with Slim and Xavier with your kicker questions is I'm just going to check the spreads really quick.
Fair enough. And you're going Reynolds dirtbag. Fair enough. And Tai Jiang, I think that's how you say your name. Sorry if I'm butchering it. Pick 4 in order: Gibson, Barkley, Devonta Freeman, Devontae Parker, Van Jefferson, or Jeff Wilson. Pick 4 in order: Gibson. What's the format? First off, is it PPR, half PPR, or standard? But in the vacuum, I'm going Gibson, Barkley, Devontae Parker for this week. Devontae Parker with no Waddle. And then it's a choice between Devontae Freeman and Van Jefferson, and that would be the point at which I would need to know the format. If it's standard, I would be going Devontae Freeman because he is a rock-solid RB2. Low end,
yeah, I think I play those 3
RB2.
running backs.
And then if it's full PPR or anything, I think even though OBJ's coming back, I'm playing Van Jefferson over Devontae Freeman.
I think
but
I play those 3 running
only
backs.
Only in full PPR formats, but you agree?
I think I play those 3 running backs regardless of format. and
Then
like
it's
those
Devontae
first three.
Parker.
Gibson, Barkley, Freeman, and then I think I would play Parker. Regardless
Okay, I
of
mean,
scoring.
our order for 3 and 4 is just switched based off of format, but you get the idea. You basically had the order right with how you listed them: Gibson, Barkley, Freeman, Parker. If not, Gibson, Barkley, Parker, Freeman.
Yeah.
But yeah, hope that helps. Hope that helps, man.
And really quick, so the Eagles-Washington line was taken down after the game was rescheduled, but before it was taken down, the Eagles were 8.5-point favorites. Like 8.5. That's a lot of points being laid. But that sounds favorable for the kicker. If the Eagles are playing with a lead, they'll be tacking on points.
Yep.
So I stick with my call, Elliott.
There you go.
At kicker.
There you go. And using nerd, what's going on? I'm so glad I played Miami D this week over Patriots. I was scared of JT.
Smart play.
Yeah.
The Patriots flopped. And at this point, I guess any defense going against Jonathan Taylor should just be benched. Full stop.
Yeah, I mean, he gets the same treatment that Derrick Henry was getting. Any team going up against Derrick Henry, you don't play them.
You bench that defense.
Same thing now with Indianapolis. Anybody playing Indianapolis. Yep.
Yep. You bench. Yeah, like doesn't matter how bad Carson Wentz can play. Taylor is a fantasy defense.
I mean, and
destroyer.
even if Carson Wentz plays bad, I mean, it's just as much in favor of a Jonathan Taylor game.
Mm-hmm.
He just might not get the touchdowns. He's still gonna get the yardage. Dude's a beast. Dirtbag. I know I asked yesterday, but want to see how you guys feel about it today. Always fair. And anybody in the chat, feel free to do so.
Yeah.
St. Brown over Kirk.
I think I still lean Kirk. Just better offense, better quarterback. I know St. Brown should get all the volume, but I would rather rely. This is just me. I would rather
Kyler.
rely on the better offense and the better quarterback.
Yep. And with Jonathan or James Conner banged up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we don't know what Chase Edmonds' role is going to be. Is he playing? He is playing, but we're not sure what his role. We're not sure what his role is going to be. No DeAndre Hopkins, banged up James Conner. They're going to be using Christian Kirk early and often. Mm-hmm. I like Kirk in this matchup over St. Brown too.
Yep.
So I believe we both went Kirk over Brown yesterday.
I feel the same way today.
You feel the same way, if not a little stronger about Kirk. But thanks, bro. And using nerd with Hopkins out, Kirk was the wide receiver 1 on this team. Yep.
Yeah. I'll just caveat that was with Colt McCoy. That being said, I feel just fine about Green and Kirk.
They're co-wide receiver 1s on this team.
I guess
Green and Kirk are co-wide receiver 1s with no Hopkins.
Well, they are co-wide receiver 1s for their team, not
yes,
for fantasy.
That's what I meant. That's what I meant. Sorry about that clarification. Thank you.
Just to clarify, yeah.
Yep. And Zared Coburn, what's going on? Have PPR flex.
Zared.
Parker or Saquon? Really worried about Saquon. Had Stevenson. So you need to go all upside if you had Stevenson in there.
So I would play Saquon.
So yeah, you got to play Saquon and hope for another garbage time touchdown.
Right. If garbage time is what it takes, then so be it.
It's half PPR. If it was full PPR, I mean, maybe I'd come off of Saquon, but like no, I'm half PPR. Saquon's the good bet for the ceiling play.
Yeah, and, I think Parker's in line for a good game today, but
I do too.
You need some upside.
You need that RB1 point value.
Saquon offers a little bit more upside.
Yep.
He's volatile, but it's the playoffs.
We got Dill, not the Yankees guy in here. What's going on, Dill?
Nice.
Ayuk, Van, or AJ Green?
Ayuk.
Going back to that Ayuk
against the Falcons at home. Jimmy G is playing well. Ayuk is playing well. Give me Ayuk.
Yeah, I'm going Ayuk too. Because I like AJ Green, and he's coming off a 10-target game with Kyler and no DeAndre Hopkins, and I like the narrative there.
Right.
But Ayuk's been on fire. not on fire. He's been very good.
He's been rock
He's been
solid.
very good, and no Elijah Mitchell for that team, so they're gonna opt to throw more than they are gonna opt to run. So yeah, Ayuk, slightly higher floor, same ceiling as Green.
Yep.
Alec Crom, what's poppin'? DJ
Alec?
Moore, Donta Foreman, or Rashad Penny at flex?
Ooh.
Donta Foreman?
Yeah, I think Foreman. Penny is in line for the lion's share of work, but the matchup is worse.
Yeah.
Foreman feels a little more stable on a better team. The Titans are better than the Seahawks. Like, for me, guys, at this point in the season, tiebreakers go to who's the better. Like, sometimes it comes, who's the better team? Who's the player on the better team? It just, like, it feels safer. And that's the case here. Foreman against Penny. Foreman's on the better team. The Titans want to run the ball. The matchup is good by the numbers. Pittsburgh is giving up lots of fantasy points to running backs. That's where we're at this point. Foreman reestablished himself as the number one in his offense. Penny should be the number one, but again, Seahawks aren't as good as the Titans, and it's a worse matchup.
And Penny comes with a ridiculous amount of injury concern. I know he had a good game last game where he got the majority of the touches, but he comes with just as much injury concern as any running back in the league. So yeah, edge Foreman. Edge Foreman. Because I think he's going to be, at the very least, involved all game. I don't know if DJ Moore is going to be involved all game. I don't know if Rashad Penny is going to be involved all game.
I don't know if DJ Moore makes it through the game.
That too.
With the hamstring.
Yep.
But, Foreman. What's up,
Sotober? What's poppin', man? Should I drop Sony for Kirk, Moore, or Judy? Is that DJ Moore? Rondale Moore. I would.
It's gotta be Rondale.
I would maybe Kirk, but that's it. I wouldn't drop Sony for anybody else, and only if I need to play him. You have AJ Dillon. You can drop for those guys also. I would not drop AJ Dillon if I had the choice.
I don't really want to drop
Sony
either of those guys.
If you need to play a wide receiver and you have to, then I'd be picking up Kirk. But who else is on your bench, man?
Well, no, I mean that's my question. Like, do you need to start a receiver?
Yeah.
Are you is this a bench swap for bench swap? Because then my answer is don't drop those running backs.
Yeah.
If you absolutely need to, because you need a wide receiver play, then sure, do Sony for Kirk. But if this is like, this guy's a bench swap for bench swap, hold your running backs.
Yeah.
But if you need it, then Kirk.
And I'm definitely not dropping AJ Dillon.
No.
Definitely not dropping AJ
No.
Dillon. Drew B, what's going on? Flex question.
What's up, Drew?
Kirk, Penny, Sanders, Judy, Parker. What's the format, man? First question. And a reminder to everybody asking questions in here. We have it in the ticker as well, I believe. Format, scoring, it helps with these kinds of questions, especially when it matters the most in the fantasy playoffs. So we're going to be asking that a lot if you don't specify it in your question. So just a caveat there.
Scoring will help. And then really quickly, Sotober said he's good at receiver. You only have one wide receiver on your bench. That's fine. Keep your running backs. In a league I'm in the playoffs in, I have one wide receiver on my bench. There's no need to roster too many wide receivers in the playoffs. There's every reason to roster as many running backs as you can.
The fact that you can that those guys are on the wire,
right? You could do it next week if you absolutely had to.
Right. And the only guy where I would think maybe he's not available next week, or maybe you would have to spend up if you still have Fab, or you rely on waiver priorities, would be Kirk. But I think you can hold.
Yeah, you're good.
Hold.
You're good where you're at. As far as Drew goes, I think I lean Miles Sanders. I assume this is Miles Sanders because Emmanuel is out today. I would say probably Miles Sanders as a starting running back in a pretty good matchup. would be my first option. And if you can only start one, he would be my choice. If it's full PPR, then there's an argument for either Kirk or Parker. But even still, I don't love Sanders, but this year or this week, this game against Washington at home, he's definitely viable.
Yeah, I think I'm going Sanders too. He's definitely more viable than Penny at running back. And I mean, Judy hasn't been doing much. Parker is projected to do a whole lot. But I'd rather play. I think, bottom line, Sanders.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And Cali Loco, good morning. What's going on?
What's up, Cali?
RB2, pick one, Sony or Wilson? Sony. Are you going Wilson?
I'm going Wilson because Henderson is back.
I just don't love Wilson.
I know, but I know, and I love targeting running. I love playing running backs against the Seahawks this year.
Or to Ernest.
Not to Ernest. I think I lean Wilson because he should be the starter. Sony might be the starter, but we expect Henderson to have a role.
We expect Henderson to have more of a role.
We expect Henderson to maybe go back to being the starter.
Yeah, I guess Wilson, I just don't feel super great about it.
I don't feel great about it, but he should get a little bit more volume. And JaMychal Hasty didn't do anything last week with Elijah Mitchell out. So.
Yep. And hey, Slim, Jimmy Smith tested positive. Yeah, I just saw that.
Okay.
Just saw that too.
Ravens cornerback, right?
They just keep getting hit, man.
So fire up Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Fire up Alan Lazard too if you have him.
Yep. And Xavier, hey, thank you, man. Appreciate you. Elias, what's going on?
What's up, Elias?
You asked this yesterday, but now that Henderson is back, what two players should I flex? Sony Michel, Amari Cooper, A.J. Dillon, Rashad Penny, standard league.
Cooper has to be one, I think.
And are you going Dillon over Penny?
Dillon is in the better offense. Rashad Penny should be the guy.
Safe play AJ Dillon, I think, and I think I'm going Cooper and AJ Dillon.
Dillon is a safer play. Penny is got a little bit more upside, but also his floor, I would say, is Dillon's floor might be lower just because Penny's the starter. Dillon is a safe play even on the road against Baltimore. Penny is a little bit more of a swing for the fences play if you need it. But it's a tough matchup against the Rams.
Last three games for AJ Dillon: 11 rushes for 53 yards, 6 targets, 6 receptions, 44 yards, no touchdowns. 20 rushes, 69 yards, 5 receptions on 5 targets for 21 yards and a touchdown. And then last week he didn't have any receiving work, but 15 rushes for 71 yards. So I'm going. Those are great numbers, man. I'm going Dillon, and I'm going Cooper and Dillon. I know Rashad Penny is a hot name coming off a good week, but AJ Dillon's been
on the better
offense. He's been putting up those weeks. He just didn't get the 2 touchdowns.
Right. And Rashad Penny's numbers looked great because he played Houston.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Dillon's on the better team, better offense.
Been getting a lot of work, even with Aaron Jones back in. So, yeah. Even
though they're on the road, even though the Packers are on the road, I definitely Dillon's the type of player who I definitely feel better about at home. But, yeah, I mean, the production has been there.
Yep. But thanks for joining us, Elias. And, hey, if you got any more questions that you hit us up with yesterday, let us know. And, Nick, your video just turned off.
I'll get it.
Sorry, man. Zared Coburn. Hey, welcome. And Packers or San Francisco D?
San
Fran playing ATL.
And I think that's as good as a matchup as it gets.
Yeah, I think I'm going that way. I think I'm going San Fran.
Definitely viable to ask about the Packers, even though they're playing on the road because Lamar's not going to play. But let's take the 49ers at home in a game we expect them to win. Atlanta has been a pretty favorable matchup for opposing defenses. Actually, Baltimore, believe it or not, Baltimore has 2, even with
Baltimore
Lamar
has
Jackson.
been good.
It has
bad.
been favorable for opposing defenses. But
that's what I mean to say.
for me, the difference is San Francisco's at home, Green Bay's on the road. So let's play San Fran.
There you
That
go.
would be my call for the 49ers. Packers are a hold, though. Packers are absolutely a hold. I like them a lot at home, but they're not at home today.
And Raul Morales was popping.
Next week they're viable.
Rashad Bateman or Gabriel Davis?
Bateman's Bateman's probably playing without Lamar. Tough matchup against the Packers. Tough matchup for Davis too by the numbers, but Carolina's their season is spiraling out.
Yeah, and there's no chance Gabe Davis sees Stephon Gilmore. So.
No, and he scored touchdowns in the past 2 weeks. No Emmanuel Sanders, Davis.
Yep. And Alec Crum. Glad we could help.
Yep.
So Tobers, same deal.
Thanks for stopping by.
Yes, sir. Cali Loco, half PPR. My opponent has Henderson and is playing him Lazard or Bateman.
This was the running back question.
Yeah.
So your opponent has Henderson. I would not worry about the hedge. I would play Wilson. Because if Sony goes off on your bench, that does stink. But then
that means that Henderson isn't getting no work.
Means Henderson's not doing anything. So Wilson still gives you an opportunity to, for a play.
You technically still win there.
And if Henderson is the one who's playing well and Sony is not, well, then you're not hurt by Sony.
Yep.
I would play
Lazard or Bateman?
Lazard.
With Huntley out there, Lazard.
Bateman played decent last week with Huntley, but
I tend to think that was an anomaly.
I don't know that I want to chase that.
With Huntley, I feel like that's an anomaly, and I feel like with backup quarterbacks, the pendulum swings from week to week. They have a good week, and then boom, the league kind of figured him out a little bit, figured out how to work against him, and you saw it with Mike White. You've seen it with a bunch of backup quarterbacks over the last few seasons where they come in hot, and then they taper off, and I think that's going to happen with Huntley as well in this game.
There you go.
Yep. And David Thomas, what's going on? Kirk or Osborne?
David.
Kirk.
Osborne, we don't know if Thielen's going to play or not. If Thielen plays, Osborne takes a massive hit. So that's not something I want to wait around on because they're playing on Monday night. So give me Kirk in a situation I feel a little better about.
Yeah, as we said before, he's basically splitting wide receiver 1 duties in his offense for his team with AJ Green, but he's like a 1B playing with a 1B for the foreseeable future.
Yeah. Osborne's viable, but only if Thielen is out, and that's not something I want to wait around to find out.
And Xavier Dubs, AJ,
Lazard, or Davis. I think I slightly lean Green. Should be his, should be a 1A. Should be a 1A or at worst a 1B. Davis and Lazard are closer to being their team's 2s.
Davis is going to have to do it on less work. AJ Green should command again, the 10 targets that he got last week.
Yeah.
Gabe Davis, you're hoping for 6-7 targets, and you're hoping that one of them is a touchdown like it normally is with him. So the sure thing to me is AJ Green. And AJ Green and Gabe Davis have similar upside to me. Yeah. So I'd be rolling AJ Green because he's slightly safer, because I think the volume is going to be slightly more in his favor over Gabe Davis, even though I love Gabe Davis this week, and I love Gabe Davis moving forward. But for this week, with no DeAndre Hopkins, AJ Green.
Yep.
Upson Brown, what's going on? Thanks for joining us 2 days in a row. You're starting Russell Wilson, Chubb, Montgomery, Higgins, Clown.
Pretty good.
Freiermuth, Tampa Bay, Tucker. Who should I flex? Dylan, Hubbard, Beasley, or Christian Kirk? Dylan, considering what we just went over. 2 out of the last 3 weeks, he was put up a low-end wide or RB1 week.
Yeah. He should get at least 10 to 12 opportunities. if he turns one of those into a score, I mean, he's an RB2 play.
Yep.
If he doesn't, he still has flex appeal.
And he's been getting a ton of receiving work. Outside of what he did last game, which was nothing. I mean, the 2 games prior, he caught everything that was thrown in his direction and had 11 targets over the 2 weeks prior. So, A.J. Dillon. And Sad J. Cutler. Yo, that's great. Sad J. Cutler. I love it. Oh, man. Thanks for joining us, man. Have PPR, Jeff Wilson, St. Brown, or Craig Reynolds.
St. Brown.
St. Brown. Out of those guys, St. Brown. 12 targets back-to-back games. St. Brown. Love that. Love that name, bro. That's great.
Big fan.
Yep.
But yeah, give me St. Brown. He should be his team's top option. They're down everybody.
Sad J. Cutler. Oh, man.
Sad J. Cutler.
Love it. Love it. Bruce, what's popping? Christian Kirk or Penny at flex? Format would help here.
Format might help. Penny's the starter. Not sure how good we can feel about him going against the Rams. I know he popped last week, but that was against Houston. Kirk feels safer. Kirk feels safer. Penny's more of a swing, like a moonshot swing for the fences. But if you feel like you can play it safe, I think I would prefer to play Kirk.
Kirk is safer, less of an injury risk, less of a everything risk. Regardless of format, and if it's PPR, I'm firmly going in that direction. If it's standard, that might give me a little bit more pause. If it's standard, I might edge Penny. But half PPR, I'm going Christian Kirk, safer. Yep. And come on, y'all, we need more questions in the chat. What's going on? Half PPR,
Or we took care of everybody yesterday. It's possible.
It's possible, man. But hey, Sad J. Cutler, you got any more questions? Thank you for subscribing. Much appreciated. Much appreciated.
Welcome to the community. Welcome aboard. Thanks for subbing.
Yes,
appreciate it.
That's a great name. It's a great name.
Yeah, big fan.
Yep.
I mean, we might shut this down a little early if there aren't any more questions, but obviously if there's anything specific you guys want to talk about, we're happy to do that. Trying to think if there's anything else, if there's any news that has come down. What's this underdog thing? This is just, hey, give us your money.
John Feliciano is on the reserve COVID list. Oh man, that's a huge blow for the Bills defense or Bills offensive line.
Well, not that we were starting a running back anyway.
No, that just hurts the whole offense in general because their O-line was an issue while he was out. Sure.
Yep.
The Jimmy Smith news, Cam Sims news, and Wyatt Teller news.
Yeah, we can feel good about firing up all Packers, even though they're on the road. This matchup has become even more favorable.
Yep. And the more I think about it, the more I like AJ Dillon as a play this week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Feels good firing him up.
But hey, thanks again, Sad J. Cutler, for the sub. Much appreciated.
Yeah, of course.
Cali Loco in my standard explosive play bonus league DST pick 1, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Seattle. Cleveland's playing who?
The Raiders.
The Raiders. Home. Seattle got the Rams on Tuesday.
So no.
Pittsburgh
is playing the Titans. Cleveland, I guess, by default.
Yeah.
At least they have Myles Garrett. Like, they can get sacks.
And no news on Renfro. We saw somebody in the chat last night
that was spamming,
I think.
That was some BS.
Yeah, said that Renfro was out, but no news on that. So Renfro playing. No Darren Waller. Your cam went out again.
I got it.
You back.
Sorry, I'm bouncing between a couple of things. Just checking some stuff. Making sure I'm as up to date as I can be.
Boom, boom. Yeah. So Cleveland.
Yeah, Cleveland by default. Pittsburgh's a mess right now. Not playing well. I know they're at home. They're a different team at home. But it hasn't been very pretty. I would play Cleveland at home against the Raiders. They feel like a more favorable matchup than the Titans. And Seattle, I'm avoiding altogether.
Oh, yo, Xavier, no, you don't need no need to say my B, man. I'm glad we helped you out yesterday, and thanks for tuning in on a day when you don't actually need to tune in. So much appreciated. I hope you win all your matchups today, man, and I hope work's going all right.
Of course.
Thanks as always for tuning in. Ups and Brown, hey, you're welcome for the info. Much appreciated. Thank you for the compliments. Bless you too. And hey, good luck to you in the playoffs as well. Both of us are in the playoffs in the majority of our leagues. So yeah, it's been a hey man, same here. But we're
every other day.
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit yesterday. We both did very good this year.
That's some pretty good showings this year.
Yep.
Obviously not done, but
and honestly, talking things over with you guys a couple of times a week helps bring clarity to my own
lineups. we talk through situations and scenarios that directly impact us as well. So This is a give and take, no doubt.
Yep. And Sajay Cutler, thoughts on the possibility of Tuesday games being canceled and postponed to a later week? It's possible.
So
anything's possible at this point.
It's possible, but the commissioner, Roger Goodell, did put out a statement saying that it's highly unlikely these games get moved. The NFL does not want to move a game to another week.
And that news that we covered yesterday about that COVID news, all it means is that there are going to be less COVID cases that are going to be reported day in, day out in the NFL.
As long as you're vaccinated, they're going to stop the daily testing or even testing altogether.
Yeah.
So that favors vaccinated players. Obviously, unvaccinated players are still at risk of, picking up a positive test and being ruled out. But hopefully this slows down a little bit over the next couple of weeks with playoffs upon us.
And for those that missed it yesterday, the NFL/NFLPA announced revised COVID-19 protocols on Saturday. Yesterday, the new protocols will no longer require vaccinated players to be tested weekly. Vaccinated players will still be subject to targeted testing and will be tested if they show symptoms or have a higher risk contact. So, if you missed it yesterday, we talked a little bit about that. Basically, less testing in the NFL means less chances that the players that you have on your fantasy team will be out for you unless, again, as Nick said, they're unvaccinated. So, I guess that's good news. I guess
it's good news for player availability. The non-football part of this conversation is a separate one, but.
I just hope it doesn't lead to widespread people being out in the future. I mean, it could. We don't know which way it's going to go. All speculation. It's just something to keep in mind. But it looks like, at least for the next few weeks, before we have to deal with the ramifications of this rule switch, that we're gonna be dealing with less people being out due to being put on lists for this, that, and the other thing. So. So yeah, all right, enough about that. But the Tuesday games probably staying where they are, but everything's up in the air at this point. They're changing rules weekly to stay up with the times. Cali Loco and half PPR. I'm thinking of sitting McLaurin and going with Deontay and Lazard. Already played Keenan Allen.
Deontay has to be in for sure.
Yep. That's a solid swerve. I mean, McLaurin might not be playing, and he's dealing with an injury himself, right?
Terry practiced in full yesterday and is looking like he's now going to play. It is a game that's on Tuesday, so obviously you could be pigeonholed if you intend to play Terry McLaurin, and then he's ruled out. But it sounds like he's trending to play. I don't think I could personally play Alan Lazard over Terry McLaurin, even given the circumstances. I understand.
I was unaware of him
wanting to
practicing
bench
back-to-back. All right.
I understand wanting to pivot off of Terry, especially after the past couple of weeks, and with this situation, with his whoever plays quarterback for him, in a postponed game, coming off a concussion. I understand that. I get all that. If you play Lazard over Terry, obviously this is your team, therefore it's your call, final call. I would have a hard time pulling that trigger personally.
Well, Keenan Allen already gave you a good week. Deontay Johnson's a good bet to get you 13 to 20 points weekly on average.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
Excuse me. Sorry about that. I mean, you're in a situation where playing it safe with McLaurin is also playing the high upside play with McLaurin. That's McLaurin. So you're not crazy to move off of McLaurin, but now hearing that he did get in a few practices and looks to be playing, he's a little bit more of a sure bet for me. Now he doesn't have his QB1, but basically no J.D. McKissick. Ricky Seals-Jones.
That's a good call.
Yeah,
is McKissick out? Has he been ruled out?
I think so.
Still questionable.
But yeah,
but he remains out of practice. McKissick is not going to play. Or, well, I'm saying that as it's not official.
Yeah, so McLaurin is going to be seeing Darius Slay, who's been shutting people down all year.
If you want to pivot to, if Lazard is your next best option,
and he's going to be the only guy out there outside of Antonio Gibson. They might just let Antonio Gibson run wild and shut down Terry McLaurin again, and just that's the way that they beat the Washington football team, the Eagles, right? I mean that.
Yeah. I think I'm personally playing Terry and hoping for the best.
Hoping for a touchdown.
I think I'm personally playing Terry and hoping for the best. But if you don't feel good about it, Callie, obviously do what you feel like you have to do. I would personally, I have a hard time moving off of Terry for a good player in Alan Lazard, but Terry is a better player.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. I think I'm personally gonna come back to this one.
Okay.
William,
if you want to play Lazard because McLaurin has been like doing nothing for you the past 3 weeks, I can't hold that against you. I would go back to that well one more time in the playoffs, personally. But that's
William Risky was popping. Bateman, Lazard, or Gallup, wide receiver 3 standard. Gallup or Lazard, I don't think you go to Bateman with Tyler Huntley playing. And here, I think I go. Who's Dallas playing?
The Giants.
The Giants.
Who are a mess.
They might not need to put up a ton of points to win against them.
I think I would.
But Green Bay, same deal.
Well, Green Bay's matchup feels like it's a little bit more in the balance. Baltimore, for as banged up as they are better than the Giants.
True. Agreed.
Gallup, I think
safer
I would
play Gallup.
I think Gallup is a slightly safer play.
Lazard is slightly higher upside. So if you played like Ramondre Stevenson or CEH and you need a high upside play because the guy across from you played Kelsey, then I would
Tyreek.
go Lazard. But if all else even, I would go Gallup.
Yeah, I think I would play Gallup.
Cali Loco, much appreciated.
Appreciate the support, Cali, as always.
Upson Brown, you dropped Hawk and picked up Rojo. What do you think? I mean,
he said later down there, feeling they're going to sit Fournette till the playoffs. I think they're going to play Fournette as long as they can. The Bucs don't have anything locked up yet as far as playoffs. But Hawkinson,
and honestly, Antonio Brown's return is probably going to take away a little bit of the passing game upside from Fournette, which means he's not gonna be forced to see so many snaps, which might get him healthier for the playoffs. So, I don't think they're gonna shut him down. He's been such a huge part of their offense. I think they need him, considering they don't have it all locked up.
Yep.
But Rojo's still a handcuff. No Gio Bernard right now.
Let's put it this way: anybody for Hawkinson is fine. Anybody, like, if you identify a player where it's like, yeah, sure, fine, Hawkinson is a 0 for the rest of the year, so fine.
Hey, we've seen stranger things happen.
Yep.
Fournette can go down, and then it's Rojo time because Gio Bernard isn't healthy right now. It's the same reason we were advocating picking up Samaje Perine earlier in the year. It's just everybody's negative on Rojo, and with good reason. But if the starter is out and Rojo's the only back playing for one of the best offenses in the league, then you win, and you gave up a player that's not going to be playing for you for the rest of the season. So,
yep.
Solid move.
Yep.
It's a low-key solid move, but it's a solid move.
Yep.
Alex, Josh Reynolds, or Jeff Wilson one PPR, just full PPR.
I think Wilson starting running back in a great matchup.
Wilson. I don't love Josh Reynolds.
I think Reynolds is fine. Wilson as a starting running back, it's not a spectacular starting running back, but it's a great matchup, and San Francisco is playing pretty well of late. Give me Wilson.
Wilson's higher floor, same ceiling, and one PPR to me. Josh Reynolds isn't a guy that gets peppered with targets. He's a guy that makes things happen on a long bomb. So he's not going to get which can be good and can work to your benefit, but he's not a guy like Amon-Ra St. Brown who in one PPR is racking up 12 receptions or 12 targets.
Right.
So he doesn't have that stability in his favor. So I'm going Jeff Wilson too. And Sajay Cutler, hey, thank you again for the sub. Thank you again for tuning in, and best of luck to you today. I hope we see you next week, and you're a victor, coming off a win and going into the semifinals. So hope the same for you. Thanks for tuning in. Tanya 187, what's going on? Half PPR, Metcalf or Javonte Williams? Ramsey should be back for the Rams.
Yep, Williams. Metcalf has not been. I got to move off Metcalf until further notice. It's been ugly. I'm
not all the way off Metcalf, but if you're given the choice between him and Javonte Williams in half PPR, I'm going Javonte Williams. I'm not all the way off. There is a tier break at some point for Metcalf, despite the fact that he hasn't been excellent of late. But with no Tyler Lockett, they're going to be forced to use him, the Seattle Seahawks. So this is a game, we've said it in the past for other players, it's a make it or break it game. Put up or shut up. Like, if you can't do it here, then you can't be trusted for the rest of the season. But, Javonte Williams is a great pivot.
Yep. Javonte.
Sebastian, what's going on?
What's up, Sebastian?
Janikowski? Huh? No?
Need one RB and one flex. Javonte, Saquon, Higgins, and Edmonds. Javonte and Saquon. Play those top two running backs.
Yep.
I like Higgins. I do. But I can't ignore those backs. I'm leery about Saquon, but he gave you a pretty strong RB play last week, despite it taking garbage time to do so. Saquon over Higgins. Javonte is a lock. Callie's tired of watching a game with McLaurin. Looks like he's not even playing. I hear you, man. I understand. But I've seen. We know his talent level. Again, if go with your gut. If your gut's telling you Lazard is in a better situation, feels better next, like playing with Rodgers versus whoever the hell Washington plays at quarterback. Obviously, you're talking about a significant difference, no matter who it is. I understand wanting to pivot. I get it. And I'm not gonna like fight you too hard if you want to play Lazard over Terry. Me personally, I don't know if that's a trigger I could pull. That's all.
It's right on the borderline of what I would consider like iffy, where it could go either way.
Sure.
Allen Lazard is a good enough play this week where I'm not saying no altogether. I mean, Terry McLaurin has had everything going in his way the past few weeks and hasn't been putting it together. I mean, he had his number one quarterback with basically no number one tight end. J.D. McKissick's been in and out of the lineup and unreliable. No number two or number three wide receiver to speak of. DeAndre Carter. I mean, but still, McLaurin hasn't been getting it done. And now we were expecting him to get it done with Kyle Allen out there.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough, man. It's tough. We're at the point where you're not necessarily starting your studs based off of what's happened historically over the past few weeks.
I mean, when the situation gets as bad as it does with Washington, then it's understandable. But go with your gut.
I'm having a tough time advocating going one way or the other, and I know that you're here to get a solid answer from us.
I personally couldn't. I don't think I could move off of Terry. But if you're done with him, go with your gut.
I'm not done. It's just
not you, Callie.
Not
good. You, not or Callie.
Yeah.
If you are done with Terry, then go with your gut. Do what you think. Do what you think makes the most sense, and/or just do what you think you want to do. If this is the move that you feel is best, do it. Do it. You are your own boss when it comes to, making these decisions. If you feel like this is the move you have to make to get a win, I will not fight you hard on that.
Yeah.
Just me. That's all, and that's the last thing I'll say on that. Personally, I don't think I can move off McLaurin, but I understand why you want to.
Yeah, I guess. Reggie Cook. Should I start
What's up,
Tyler
Reggie?
Lockett? No, because he's out.
Well, it could play Tuesday.
No,
so to that
Christian
point,
Kirk.
I would not roll those dice.
Just start Christian Kirk and don't roll the dice.
Just start Kirk because
he's
going to play. Lockett. If Lockett gets ruled out, if Lockett doesn't get activated, you're going to be picking up who? Dwayne Eskridge. We don't want to do that.
No.
Christian Kirk. Just Blake Kirk.
And hey, Will, I heard you're having a party later. I didn't get invited.
Yeah, something like that. Christmas theme.
Taysom or Hurts.
We're gonna be making gingerbread
6-point
houses.
passing. Oh, look at y'all.
Yeah, nerds.
Hurts.
I would play Hurts because Taysom doesn't have his play caller. He doesn't have Sean Payton, and it's against the Bucs. And the Bucs secondary is decimated, but their front seven is strong. Taysom can't really throw all that well. He runs very well.
Hurts has better weapons. If
Bucs have played to that strength.
If it's 6-point passing touchdown, Hurts has better passing weapons, and he has the same rushing, if not more, rushing upside.
I'm playing Hurts,
and he has his play caller. So yeah, I'm playing Hurts.
And right, if you're desperate, you can pick up Minshew. If Hurts if he's a surprise, has to miss the game, you can pick up Minshew.
You get the mullet.
Yep. But yeah, give me Hurts.
And Jeff Wilson or Barkley and have PPR. Dallas D scares me in ATL. It's a juicy matchup. I think there's a tier break for me though, man. I'm going Saquon still.
Yeah, that's a tier break. Wilson has not been good enough to force this conversation for me. Saquon hasn't been great, but you drafted him in the first round. And he's healthy. And he's got the backfield to himself. And they're at home. The Giants are at home. Saquon. Yep.
Michael D'Ambrosio, what's going on? Javonte or Michael Carter in the flex? Thanks, Javonte, and it's easy. Javonte, and it's easy, man. Javonte.
Yeah. Carter's coming back, so that's
rest
good.
Of season 2.
Rest of season 2.
Yeah.
Carter should see a significant workload. That was the report that came out of New York directly from the head coach's mouth. But the Miami Dolphins are playing incredibly well right now on defense. Javonte is the better player and has the better matchup. Javonte.
Yep. Confident in that. Alex Gleason, what's going on? Flex Foreman, David Johnson or Dalton Schultz?
Foreman's his team's running back 1. Pittsburgh is a favorable matchup for running backs these days. Foreman.
Literally,
running
unless
back
you're
over the
playing
tight
in a
end.
tight end premium league, it's Foreman.
Yeah, Foreman.
And yeah, I'm just throwing that out there as a caveat, just in case. Tim Shields.
What's up, Tim?
Sorry.
Man, you're struggling. You're struggling with words right now. John is having a difficult time with words right now.
Whoa, let's do it. Russell Gage, Julio, or Penny at the flex. Penny. Out of those guys, Penny.
Yeah, Penny. I don't feel great about Penny's not getting 2 touchdowns against the Rams. If he does, then crown him. But this is a tougher matchup, but Penny should see most of the work. There's no reason to mess around at this point if you're the Seahawks. I don't know what Adrian Peterson's status is. I also don't really care all that much. But he did, for what it's worth, miss last week's game. So obviously if he factors in, that makes it a little more annoying. And he does have a chance to play this week. Peterson does. So that would make it annoying. But this team should just ride Penny and see what they have. They drafted him in the first round. Let's see if he's worth a second contract. Penny.
And Ray Suarez, what's going on, man? Thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you for joining us.
Appreciate it.
You said, man, words today.
Right. So John's struggling with words.
Jonathan Taylor, Kyler, Edmonds, Gallup, Kupp. I have Stafford,
Christ.
Zeke, Najee, Keenan Allen, Cooper, Parker, Everett. Hey, man, that's as tough as matchups get.
Taylor was being held in check
game.
until the last freaking play.
Yeah.
And he's got Kupp. Ugh.
I mean, Edmonds shouldn't be getting a ton, but you're playing against a ton of the league's best players at the position. You got the RB1, the wide receiver 1, and the tight end 1 playing against you this week.
This dude's clearly the 1 seed.
Rough,
you're playing
man.
You're playing the 1 seed. I have no doubt with that lineup. So yeah, swing for the fences if you have to. Zeke and Najee got to be in. Najee's got a tough matchup by the numbers. Just keep that in mind. The Titans are good at stopping the run, but they're at home. Pittsburgh's at home.
But you got a solid lineup. I don't love having Everett in there.
We need a Cooper ceiling game.
But you have Stafford to equalize Kupp, right?
That's not much of an equalizer.
I mean, hey, we're reaching for straws. We're reaching for anything at this point. Going up against that lineup, Kelsey, Taylor, Kupp. I mean, if having Stafford is a slight benefit in your favor, but not much. To Nick's point, you're gonna need everything to pull your way this week, Ben. And if
need a Cooper pop game.
Yeah, and if you have any players on your bench that might be more high upside plays, then maybe if you have somebody on, you can swap out for Everett, who might be a little bit higher upside of a play,
or even Parker.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Parker, but I like Parker today as a floor play.
I mean, you got to go ball. Excuse the expression. You got to go balls to the wall. You got to go all in on high upside plays this week if you're gonna beat that lineup. You can't afford to play it safe. So if you have any questions for us regarding who to start based off of who's on your bench and who you got in flex spots and that sort of thing, let us know. But hey, man, best of luck and thank you for the super. Man. Thanks for tuning in.
I promise you, I am rooting against Kupp today. In multiple situations, I'm rooting against Kupp today. So I'm right there with you. Tuesday. It's gonna be Tuesday.
And hey, if you win, imagine you're gonna be able to tell people, hey man, remember when Kelsey put up 20 points and I start 40 points and I still
40
beat him?
points or 35 points at least.
Remember on that playoff run when I won it all, I went up against Kelsey, Taylor, and Kupp and won the matchup.
And
hey man,
pulled it out.
That's the stuff dreams are made of, bro.
Yes,
you know what I mean? Hey, and throwing another super at us, bro.
Dude,
Thank you.
You don't gotta do that. But
you don't gotta do that, but yeah, much appreciated. I can either start Everett or Seals Jones.
Everett.
Yeah, he's the number 1 seed, and you also
have Odell.
Would you go Beckham over Parker?
I would go, especially because you have Stafford. Play Odell. At least stack them. I would play Odell.
It equalizes Cooper Kupp a little bit more if you have that in there.
If Odell delivers.
Yeah.
I would play Odell over Parker. Parker should be good today. I think Parker will be good today. Beckham, I think, has a little bit more upside for bigger plays, Ray, and you have Stafford, so you can stack the two of them. I would play Beckham over Parker. I would keep Everett in there. Seals-Jones is on. I'm avoiding Washington outside of Antonio Gibson, and maybe Terry McLaurin, likely Terry McLaurin.
Yeah, Seals-Jones didn't have a good week last week, and Everett, that team is without
the Eagles.
Lockett right now.
The Eagles are susceptible to the tight end, but Washington is a COVID wrecked disaster right now as far as their roster.
Yeah.
So I don't feel good about that situation. I would play Everett. And that's a bit of it's a bit of a contrarian stack with your Rams with Stafford and Beckham. So, and no Tyler Lockett most likely for the Seahawks. So Everett could see a little bit of an expanded role. So I think you're fine keeping Everett in there, but Odell was activated off the COVID list. I think you can confidently fire him up over Parker. And you have the stack. So yeah, let's get Odell in there for a little extra upside.
Yep.
Because if Parker scores 10 and Odell scores 5 and you lose by 20, like, who cares? Let's go for the ceiling play. Let's go for the ceiling play. Beckham's more of a ceiling play than Parker.
Yep. Agreed.
Especially with Stafford. But yeah, good luck, man. Trust me, I will be right there. I'll be right there with you. Sorry to anybody that has Cooper Kupp. Not that you need me to apologize, because I'm the ones grasping at straws, not you. You got to feel good about Kupp every single week, but I will be rooting against Kupp right with you, Ray.
And Ray, thank you so much for the supers. Thanks for
Relax,
tuning in.
yeah.
And we hope that you pull it out and are with us next week, pulling in.
And we're talking.
About,
we're talking semifinals.
Yeah. Yep. All right, Ups and Brown. You also picked up Gabe Davis and Ernest Johnson because you have Madison and Landry out and put them on your IR list. What do you think? Hey, man.
Yeah, good grabs.
Yeah.
Good grabs.
Yeah, exactly what you're looking for right now. I think Gabe Davis has just as much, if not higher upside than Landry when both are healthy right now. And Madison is obviously, Madison. We all know what Madison is.
Madison's an RB1 when Dalvin Cook is out, and is a deep stash when Dalvin Cook is in.
But hey, when Landry comes back and Madison come back, are you dropping Gabe Davis?
That's a conversation for when that happens.
Yeah.
We gotta go. Like, we've really it's
1 week.
We're down to we're 1 day at a time in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Things change, can and will change rapidly. We're 1 day at a time right now in the playoffs. So
True.
That's a question for next week. But yeah, fine with that depth for now.
Yeah, come back. Ups and Brown, you already know. Come back next week and we'll talk about it. We'll debate it then. John Alvarez was popping. Is Craig Reynolds a good pickup? Had Hunt and Henry. My running backs have become a disaster. Hilliard is my only other guy. I'm sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah. Reynolds should be fine. I would just caution with Craig Reynolds. And he was elevated from the practice squad, so you have to imagine he's going to get a role. But Jamar Jefferson is healthier than he was last week, and he's not battling the flu like he was last week. I don't think we should totally discount Jamar Jefferson. Who do I start between Jamar Jefferson and Craig Reynolds? That's a roll of the dice. That's a complete roll of the dice. But Reynolds had a pretty good showing last week in a tough spot. This is a tougher spot. Even though they're at home, Arizona is one of the elite run defenses, they're elite as far as opposing fantasy running backs allowed. That's one of the worst matchups in the NFL. So that also makes it tough. But
yeah, they're giving up 18.8 fantasy points to opposing running backs right now. And that is... They're giving up 18.8 opposing fantasy points to the opposing running back group that they're facing on a game-to-game basis. And that's that's eighth in the league. Eighth best in the league. Yeah.
All right. To that point, the Lions running backs are a complete roll of the dice. If Craig Reynolds is your best option as far as pickups, sure, go for it. I would just caution that Jamar Jefferson might have more of a role today.
Yeah. True. And Alex, yo, what's poppin'? Half PPR, Brandon Cooks or Devontae Parker? I'm going Brandon Cooks.
Cooks has a little bit more upside.
11 targets last game. Davis Mills is starting the rest of the season, who hyper targets Brandon Cooks.
Yeah, he's been hyper targeting.
So Brandon Cooks is when Davis Mills is in, just based off of volume, you're hoping. I mean, not hoping. I mean, you're getting a mid tier to high end wide receiver to play week in week out with Cooks at this point. And Ray Suarez, hey man, another one. Thank you so much.
Oh, Ray, you're
you don't
got
to keep doing this, bro. But much appreciated as always. You also, when we'll go up to the question that we were on, we're just gonna get to the super real quick. I also have Dak and Amari Cooper stack, or do I stick with Stafford and Beckham stack?
I think I stick with Stafford and Beckham. I play Cooper. Dak's been not as good as Stafford recently. Stafford is at home. Dak's on the road in windy conditions against Dallas. Or against the Giants. They're not awful windy conditions, but they are calling for potentially up to 20 mile per hour winds. That could mess with the passing game a little bit, maybe not too bad, but a little bit. But Stafford has been more steady in recent weeks than Dak. So because you have Beckham, and because your opponent has Kupp, I would keep Stafford in there.
Yeah.
You have to play Amari, and we got to hope for a big Amari game.
Stafford's been just as good as Dak when both are on,
and Dak has been worse recently.
And Cooper's been a little bit more boom bust than
right. We need a boom.
Odell
week.
has.
You need a boom week from Cooper.
Yep. But thank you again for the super, bro, and much appreciated. If you got any more questions, you can throw them into the regular chat. You don't got to keep super on this. Very much appreciated, but.
Yeah, very much appreciated.
Yeah, man. Thank you. Just thank you. And Alex, to go back up to your question, Brandon Cooks over.
I'm playing Cooks, who has wide receiver 1 upside with Davis Mills in a great matchup.
Yep. Rest of season, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Elias, what's going on?
And this is something that you had been suggesting to do yesterday.
What?
Pick up Kirk Cousins over Taysom Hill.
Yeah, and I think I would, just so your opponent can't play them, play defense. You can't play defense in fantasy football unless you are picking up players to prevent your opponent from picking them up. So that's the best defense we can play. I don't hate it.
Yeah, and hey, he has Burrow. He still has a decent quarterback.
Yeah, force him to play Burrow. I mean, not that Burrow, not that like you're dying to play against Joe Burrow, but Cousins and Cousins definitely has a better matchup this week. So sure, play some defense. Love it. I'm with it. I'm all with that strategy.
Sorry, I got some league notices coming through. I just wanted to read them real quick.
Just checking it. Cool.
Yep.
Michael, you're welcome. Hopefully this helps.
Yep.
Scott Sharp, what's going on? Appreciate the kind words. Thanks for being a part of the stream.
Hell yeah. If you got any fantasy questions, let us know. Thanks for being part of the community.
Yeah, thanks for being a part of this. This is all we can hope for, is that we give you guys the correct advice, or at the very least, our best evaluation of your situation. Is that a bar? Did I just rap?
I'm gonna leave that up for others to decide and deliberate on.
I
But
think it was a bar.
I mean, hey, we didn't when we started this up doing these live streams, we didn't know how successful they were gonna be, but they're a lot of fun, and it's all thanks to you guys. So, thanks to everybody in here. Thanks for your kind words, Scott.
And yes, Michael, that is we do identify as boys.
Yes.
Bing Bong, what's going on?
Yeah, just caveat. I tend to say like, "What's up, man? What's up, bro?" If I
if that's not correct, please let us know.
Let us know. We don't want to.
Don't be afraid to let us know if that's not correct.
Bing Bong.
What's up, Bing
Bong?
On?
Start one for flex. T. Higgins, AJ Green, or Michael
Higgins.
Carter.
I think I would play Higgins. I think there's a bit of a tier, like a talent tier break at this point between him and AJ Green.
Yep.
If it's standard, this might be a little bit more of a conversation, but I don't like, for Carter, in Carter's favor, but I don't like the matchup today against the Dolphins in his first game back. Give me Higgins. AJ Green has the best matchup, but Higgins is the
better player.
Higgins has a better, just as safe a floor, just as much upside. And he's better. Higgins.
And to something Nick told me earlier on in the season, friends do not let friends think that T. Higgins is not a good football player.
Yeah, forget that.
Not
Higgins
a good fantasy play.
Yup.
Yeah. So we're here to remind you guys that T. Higgins is good. T. Higgins is real good.
T. Higgins
real
is good. Zared, what defenses do we like for next week? Yeah, so this is, again, these questions are when it comes to playoff time, these questions are tough. I know we want to look ahead. I'm looking for my week 16 defense too. Don't get it twisted. But it's tough because between the postponements of some of these games, and we still have to play this week, we don't know who's going to get through it unscathed and who isn't. It's tough to make these calls. If a big name goes down, that can change the dynamic. That being said, I did like Seattle next week at home against the Bears, but they just lost 2 days of rest between games because the game got moved to Tuesday. So do I like Seattle as much with that factor in? I don't know. Tough to make that call, Zared. We are intending to go live. I think waivers should be pushed back in all leagues to Thursday next week because of these postponements. So we'll be live Tuesday. What did we agree on, John? 5 p.m. Eastern?
Yeah, we're going to be shooting for 5 p.m. EST. Because
we'll be live 5.
We have a game at 7 on Tuesdays, so we don't want to rub too much up against that time slot. But
5 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday, we will be going live. That can be a combination of any last-minute start-sit advice for those last 2 games of the week, and also an early look ahead to waiver pickups for Week 16. So, Zared, it might be like when the dust settles, if you got time on Tuesday, again, 5 p.m. Eastern, come on back. It might be a little easier to answer that question then. Tentatively, Seattle's an interesting option at home against Chicago, but again, they lost 2 days of prep with their game being postponed. So I'm like a little bit more blah on that. But anyway, let's keep it moving because I'm gonna try to. I want to try to wrap this up by noon, so that we have like an hour to prepare. Tim, Sony, Henderson, or Gage? Henderson. I would lean Henderson getting first crack at being the starter once again. So I would play Henderson if you had to play one.
I'm sorry, my whole screen restarted.
Your screen restarted.
Yes. All right. Yes, I see Tim's question. Miami defense or Arizona though? I'm going Miami. You got to go Miami, right?
Miami at home against the Jets. Miami at home against the Jets. Arizona's a good defense, probably the better defense, but they're on the road. And I know Detroit. There's nothing scary about Detroit. But give me Miami at home. They're playing well. They get the Jets. Edge to Miami.
Yep. And Damon Luce, what's popping?
What's up, Damon?
Connor, Sony, Montgomery, Gibson need to start one this week for PPR.
One?
Gibson or Montgomery? Or Connor?
I'm going to say Montgomery.
Connor
just
hurt.
Like Gibson is enticing, but give me Montgomery. The Bears are not as wrecked by COVID as Washington is. Connor has been an RB1, but Edmonds is back, and he's coming into this game banged up with the ankle injury.
Montgomery's a good bet, and he's a guy that we had been advocating.
Montgomery is safe.
Pretty much all of the early regular season as a guy to pick up for the fantasy playoffs because he had such a good matchup in the fantasy playoffs.
And it
so
starts.
I'm like you.
Tomorrow night.
I can't advocate moving off of him.
Give me Montgomery.
Gibson's been great and has like all the work right now.
Give me Montgomery.
Connor's been great. You got to go Montgomery here.
Give me Montgomery. He's plenty safe. Backfield all to himself. I mean, Khalil Herbert will mix in a little bit, but he's more spelling him, not. He doesn't have much of a role outside of spelling Montgomery. And he'll catch passes in full PPR. Montgomery will. Montgomery. And Dirtbag, you're welcome. Hopefully the advice pays off. And then Damon, Dak, or Taysom at QB. Dak has disappointed this year. Taysom's got a tough matchup, though. I'll just say that against the Bucks. They can neutralize Taysom, or in theory they can, based on the fact that they're pretty good at stopping the run. Do you have any stacks? Do you have Kamara, or do you have a Cowboys wide receiver? If you have Kamara, I might be a little bit more inclined to say Taysom, but if not, I think I might lean Dak, because Taysom's got a tough matchup against the Bucks, and he won't have Sean Payton. Dak, at the very least, the situation is a little more stable for him, so I would go Dak.
Yeah, I think I would go Dak too. I know he's disappointed you this year, but let me take a look and see where he's at in the rankings. I mean, QB 12. So not great, but I would still be going Dak. I would still be going Dak. Brandon Williams, Gallup or Green? Gallup is safer. Green is more higher upside, I would believe, right?
Yeah, Green's got a little bit more upside. Green's got a little bit more upside it should be his team's wide receiver 1. Gallup is probably his team's wide receiver 3. Both have pretty decent matchups. The difference is Green's playing in a dome.
Yeah.
Green's playing in a dome. I would play Green. I would play AJ Green over Gallup.
Yeah. And Ray, thank you, man.
Yeah. Thank you.
Artem Hoffman, what's poppin'?
What's up, Artem?
Which two would you start in PPR? Julio, Claypool, Ayuk, Landry, Bateman. Well, Landry is on the COVID list. Bateman's playing with Tyler Huntley this week, so I wouldn't advocate that. It would be probably Claypool and Ayuk for me.
I would play Claypool and Ayuk.
We still can't trust Julio. We didn't do anything.
Claypool
last
at
week.
home. No, I'm not playing Julio. Claypool at home in a good matchup. Ayuk at home in a good matchup. Claypool and Ayuk.
Yep. And sorry, I have to. I'm line up.
It's all good. Bing Bong, start one for the T Higgins or did we get one? Did we get that one, Big Bong? Did we get that one for you? Yeah, we did. Higgins over Carter. Higgins over Carter.
Yep.
Brandon, we got your question already.
But or Chase Edmonds, I would still go Gallup low floor ceiling Green.
Mm-hmm.
And then Chase Edmonds, I would just kind of wait and see to see what his role is moving forward.
Yep. Yeah.
And Bing Bong, hey, I'm glad we could help you last week. What did we help you with last week that we got right?
Yeah, remind us.
We need to know. Yeah. And Big Dummy was popping. Connor or Penny running back?
Connor's coming into the game.
Yeah, we just
banged
said
up.
He's coming in banged up,
but he's been an RB1.
Edmonds is coming back.
I think I still lean Connor. I'm going to give Connor the benefit of the doubt. I know he's coming into the game banged up, and I know Edmonds is back, but Connor has been an RB1. He was still a decent, touchdown-dependent RB2 with Edmonds when he was still active. Penny exploded in one game against the worst defense by the numbers for fantasy running backs against Houston. And now they get the Rams, who have had the Seahawks number recently. I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt to Connor despite the injury designation.
Yeah. He's just been an RB1, and you got to keep rolling with the guy who's been an RB1. Thank you for the goat emojis, Bing Bong. Income stock investing was popping. Julio Jones, Mike Davis, or Dallas Goedert PPR playing against Matt Ryan. Are you calling Dallas Goedert here? PPR?
Yeah,
I can't. We can't advocate Julio Jones because I know he got. I
can't advocate for Julio
without sustaining another injury. But
Davis has had a couple of. Davis has had some decent run recently.
Yeah.
Past couple of weeks. And you're playing against Matt Ryan, and Davis has been getting 5 catches, 42 yards, 4 catches, 37 yards. Davis. I'm going to play Davis income stock because you have Matt Ryan. Let's hedge that. You know about hedges, right? You have to. Income stock investing. That was a stupid joke. I would play Davis. Hedge against the Matt Ryan opponent. I would play Davis. The PPR work has been there past couple of weeks.
And what's the best stock to invest in right now?
Yeah, let us know.
And Brandon Williams, I don't know when you came into the stream. We don't only talk to Bing Bong.
We don't talk to just any one person.
We work our way through the chat. And unless there's a super, then we bounce down and address it. Then we go back up, continue to work our way down the chat. Every question in the chat does get answered. You can ask anybody here.
Just have some
we
patience.
did get to your question. I'm sorry you feel that way. If you have any more questions for us, let us know and we'll get to them. But we're not playing favorites here.
Nope.
And we're not playing favorites here.
Have some patience.
Damon Luce, you have Kamara. Okay.
All right, that makes it interesting with Taysom because that's a pseudo stack. That's tough. That makes it a little more interesting to play Taysom because if anything he throws to Kamara is you get that little extra from Taysom, and you protect yourself by having essentially the whole backfield, the whole Saints backfield.
Yeah.
I don't hate the idea of playing Taysom, Damon. Like Dak in a vacuum would be my call, but because you have Kamara, I'm okay pivoting to Taysom and just have your pseudo stack. And it's more of a stack than most QB running back tandems because the Saints are so thin at wide receiver anyway.
Yeah, I mean, and it's a bunch of no names. The only thing going in their favor right now is the fact that I think Troutman got activated off injured reserve, for whatever that means for the offense moving forward. But yeah, I agree with everything you're saying about the correlations between Kamara and Taysom. So that does have an impact here.
There you go. So yeah, do with that what you need to, Damon. Dak in a vacuum, but Taysom is a strong pivot with Kamara. And then another one from Income Stock: Big Ben or Derek Carr. Starting Jacobs, Renfro, and Claypool. Okay, so you can create multiple stacks here. I think I lean Big Ben at home on 10 days rest against a Titans secondary that is pretty exploitable. Derek Carr is on the road
against a tougher defense.
Against a tougher defense. Cleveland is a little wrecked by COVID, but they have another extra day to get.
And they're more wrecked on offense than they are on defense. I think their defense is not fully intact, but they're healthier than their offense is.
I would play Roethlisberger out at home against Tennessee, who is good at stopping the run, but not as good at stopping the pass. I would play Roethlisberger.
Yep. And Archum in Superflex, would you rather start Heineke, who is, I don't believe he's starting.
I don't think he's
Kyle
playing.
Allen, so you're going to have to roll with either Jimmy G or Minshew. And Minshew is up in the air, too, with whatever happens with Hurts.
Well, Hurts is going to start most likely.
Right, so I would just Jimmy G. And you should feel pretty good about that because
you should feel fine about that against Atlanta.
He has had some boom weeks of late. So
yep, Kittle's exploding. Debo and Ayuk are both. Debo's is
back,
amazing,
healthy, and Ayuk has been on fire of late. So yeah, Jimmy
G. Play Jimmy G.
And yeah, you can feel confident in that start.
You can feel fine about that.
Tim Shields, Penny, Michael Carter, or Mooney? I'm still going Penny, I think.
I'm going Mooney.
Mooney disappointed me last week, and it's
I know
clear that
it's a
he's
well.
A
I'm going. That's on the road. Anytime, the Packers are tough at home.
Yeah, but it's clear that he's a different player with Fields. And I know Fields has had games where Fields has targeted him 12 times. And I know Allen Robinson isn't in this
He's out due to COVID.
But I think
I'm playing Mooney against the pass funnel Vikings defense. That's a well I'm going back to. Penny exploded. Kudos to him. And has played well 2 weeks in a row. He exploded against Houston. That is the most favorable matchup for running backs this year. Gets the Rams. They're not they're not unbeatable, the Rams are by the numbers, but the Rams have been much more successful against the Seahawks than the other way around recently.
Yeah,
and
but
this,
who else do
and
they
this
have
Seahawks
on
team
offense
is not good.
if we don't like Metcalf? Who else do they have on offense? They're gonna. I mean,
I don't like the
Penny's
offense.
Penny's gonna get a lot of work. Penny's gonna get a lot of work. And
He should.
I like
He
him
should.
more than Michael Carter and Mooney. He disappointed me the past few weeks. He's disappointed me largely with Fields in there, just because I mean the emphasis is run game when Fields is in there, with the pass sprinkled in. And
Still
I
had
know
5 or 6 targets. Mooney did last week in a tough matchup.
I'm still going Penny. You're going Mooney. I'm sorry,
I'm
we can't
going
agree
Mooney.
on this one, Tim.
Yeah, Tim, we're at odds. Mooney for me. Penny for John. Looks like Penny should get all the work. I don't love the matchup, but Penny is a starting running back who should get all the work. I just believe in Mooney. That's a well I'm willing to go back to in a great matchup, despite Fields being the quarterback.
And don't get me wrong, I like Mooney a lot too. It's just Penny's safer, and they have a similar ceiling. And honestly, seeing as what Penny did last week, I would say Penny's ceiling's a little higher too. So he's the safer play, considering he's going to be the entire offense for that team. And if he hits his ceiling is higher than Mooney's. Because Mooney might get you, 8 for 125, but Penny can get you whatever he got last week, plus yardage-wise, plus the 2 touchdowns. He's done it.
He can't.
He did it last week.
Against Houston, not against the Rams.
Okay.
Not against the Rams.
I mean, he's still a higher floor, similar ceiling. If you're going there, we're not going to agree. Dirtbag, thoughts on Allen Lazard? We had we went pretty deep on Allen Lazard in the beginning of the stream. Do you want to?
Feeling better about him. You know, the Ravens are decimated on defense, or not decimated, but Jimmy Smith is now on the COVID list. Also, thanks. I think that was Slim. Thanks for the assist on that. And the Packers are playing. It's the Packers. It's Aaron Rodgers. I know they're on the road, but Lazard is a viable wide receiver 3. There's no doubt. No doubt.
And Joe Fahey was popping. Thank you.
Joe. Appreciate the kind words.
Between trusting Darrell Henderson or taking a chance on Craig Reynolds. There's a tier break. Darrell Henderson.
Play Henderson.
Yeah.
Play Henderson. He should get what like 1A duties. Like Sony Michel might mix in more.
Even if he's
Craig
1B,
Reynolds might.
even if he's 1B to Sony Michel, I would rather have Darrell Henderson playing a 1B role for the Rams than Craig Reynolds coming up from the practice squad and playing an unknown role in a 3-headed backfield for the Detroit Lions, who they're terrible right now.
I think Godwin played his way out of that rotation, fumbling twice, but Jermar Jefferson is likely back this week. Reynolds is too dicey. Henderson is much safer. Play Henderson, Joe.
Yep. And Alex, please pick 2: Gabe Davis, DPJ, or McLaurin. I'd go Gabe Davis and McLaurin.
Yeah, I would do that as well. I know McLaurin has disappointed, but he's still a wide. He's got a bit of a track record at this point. Has had plenty of wide receiver 1 weeks. You drafted him high. I know he's going to see Darius Slay. He's coming off a concussion, but he is likely to play after practicing in full yesterday. I have to play McLaurin. I have to. And then, I agree on Gabe. No Emmanuel Sanders for the Bills. Nothing scary at this point about the Panthers. Their season is spiraling out. Davis has scored twice the past 2 weeks. Give me Gabe. Give me Terry.
Yeah,
Jason, what's going on?
I'm going back and I'm looking at what Darnell Mooney's done with Fields, and I know I'm going back to a prior question again, but looking at it, Are you
on my side?
No,
Are you joining the light side?
No.
Or the dark side?
Nope.
Okay, fine.
Nope.
Fine. Let's move on. Jason, what's going on?
If you're really debating and just go look at the splits of what Mooney has done with Andy Dalton and then with Justin Fields. He's had. I'm talking to the person in the chat, not to you.
Okay. All right.
Just go look, and he's had one really big boom game where he didn't just score a touchdown on 5 targets and get sub 50 yards. So just take a look at that, and then I would say make up your own decision, just because we can't give you a definitive answer between the two of us. We disagree. Jason Fewer, what's poppin'? Pick two, full PPR, OBJ, Cooks, Mooney, Ayuk. Are we going to have another Mooney fight?
No, I would say...
OBJ and Cooks? Or Ayuk and Cooks?
Ayuk is in that conversation. I mean, Beckham has been good recently.
Cooks is in
coming
for me.
off the COVID list.
Cooks is just in for me.
Cooks is just in for you?
Cooks is just in for me because he gets so much work.
That.
He leads the league, I believe, or is a top 3 running wide receiver in the league in air yards when Davis Mills is his starting quarterback, and that is something that I'm chasing.
Cooks and Ayuk, because Ayuk's got Ayuk is on a roll right now as well, and great matchup.
Yep.
Cooks and Ayuk, Jason. That's where I'm going.
And Damon Luce, instead of Dak or Taysom, I could pick up Carr or Big Ben. I believe Jimmy G is there. 2 thoughts. I would stick with what you have.
Stick what you've got, yep. And I have no problem pivoting to Taysom because you have Kamara.
It's a preferential thing.
Yep.
To me.
But no, you're good. I would not swap who you have for who's available. Chopper boy, what's going on? Gabe Davis, Parker, or Penny for
standard.
It's standard. There's an argument here for Penny.
I'm going Penny and standard. I'm going Penny.
There's an argument here for Penny. I kind of like Parker to provide a decent floor play, Choppa. I kind of like Parker with no Jalen Waddle as the team's expected wide receiver 1 against the Jets. Parker is a safe play, Choppa, if you think you need some upside. If you're looking at your opponent, if you're looking at your matchup and you're like, I need a moonshot or I need an upside play, then Penny. Penny would be an upside play for me. If you like your squad, if you like your lineup, if you like your situation, if you're feeling good right now, Parker. If you're not feeling if you're like, it's dicey, I could use some upside, Penny.
I mean, I think Penny, considering he's going to get all the work on the ground, regardless of how sluggish of a game it's going to be, I think he has a solid floor too, especially in standard. I'm going Penny in any
scenario.
In any scenario.
Okay.
It's not that I don't like Gabe Davis or Parker. I do. It's just in standard. I do believe Penny is just going to get a ton of the work. I am not guaranteeing 2 touchdowns like he did last week against Houston at all. But the possibility is there. He showed it to us last week. The possibility for that to happen is there, especially since nobody else is really firing in this offense. So if they happen to get down to the goal line on a few long bombs from Wilson, I mean, Penny is a good bet to rush it in. So standard Choppa, I would go Penny.
There you go.
Choppa. Arjun, how do you feel about Javonte Williams? We love Javonte Williams.
Love Javonte. Fire him up with plenty of confidence, and that's all I gotta say.
Yeah, running back 1 this week.
Yep. Don't.
Honestly, moving forward until further notice.
Unless your running backs are Jonathan Taylor and Austin Eckler and Alvin Kamara, we're firing Javonte up.
And Joe Mixon.
We're firing Javonte up with all the confidence in the world.
Yeah, I mean, Nick advocated starting him over Najee Harris a few weeks ago, and since then, I mean, Javonte's been firing on all cylinders, and he was the better start that week against over Najee Harris, who had been the RB4 to RB7, depending on your format, up to that point. So yeah, Javonte Williams is absolutely a low-end RB1 until further notice, if not a little bit higher, especially if Melvin Gordon were to get banged up and miss some time. Alex, Superflex PPR, do I play Connor or Huntley?
This is tough. Huntley's going to potentially deliver a QB2 performance, potentially. And Huntley can run. Connor has been an RB1.
Without Jimmy Smith, chances are they're going to need to throw a little bit more.
They might need to throw a little bit more, right? They have to potentially, they got to work against Aaron Rodgers. Mm-hmm. Tougher defense, much tougher defense the Packers are than the Lions. So there's that to factor in as well. Connor's coming into the game banged up, and Edmonds is back, but he has been an RB1. for the past 6 weeks at least, probably more. Man, Huntley is a moonshot swing for the fences. If you need the upside, then Huntley. If you think you can play it safe, Alex. If you think you can play it safe, Connor. But if you're looking at it and you're like, I need a quarterback, or I need a guy with a quarterback floor potential, like running it and throwing it, then sure, Huntley. But that is a home run. Like, you're going against Kelsey, or you're going against Taylor, or you're going against Kupp, and you need a big play.
Or all three.
Right. Then Huntley. But if you think you can play it safe, then Connor.
Yep. I would agree. And E111, appreciate you.
Appreciate it, man. And
Damon
Damon.
Luce, yep.
Appreciate the
Yep.
appreciate the kind words. Good luck. Hopefully that helps. Let's get this win.
AB, what's popping, man?
What's going on, AB?
Been a
Hell
busy
yeah,
week
we're gonna
for
be
me,
around
but
in the off season.
Yeah, we'll be here.
We have not finalized our plans yet, as far as schedule and type of content and when to expect it and what specifically to expect. All of that is in the works. All of that is being discussed. We will be around, though.
We're still going to get new fantasy content for you and try to each and every day.
We might not be around on the
streams.
weekends for the NFL playoffs like we have been for the weekends for the fantasy regular season and playoffs. But
and if there is one, it's
we'll
going to be
around.
one. It's not going to be 2 streams.
Yeah, but we'll be around.
Yeah,
We'll be around, and we'll be sure to keep the community. We'll let everybody know.
Yeah, and then moving into the off season, we're gonna have some dynasty content for you, some draft coverage, some rookie coverage, some draft coverage, some post draft coverage, training camp coverage, mini camp coverage, all that stuff.
I'll do best
the
ball
NFL
stuff.
season doesn't end. Yeah. I mean, it ends, but the ball keeps rolling because it's on to the next season and what that's gonna be bringing us. So, yeah, we ain't going nowhere.
Nah, we'll be around.
To quote P. Diddy, we ain't going nowhere.
Nope. We'll keep. Yeah, stay tuned. We'll be sure to keep everybody updated. Hell yeah, income stock. Hell yeah.
There you go.
That's how you
Quit
do
watching
it.
at halftime. That's yes.
Needed that positive
Yes.
juju, so you stop paying attention. I don't care. I'm good with that. Whatever you need to do. So yeah, let's go. Let's keep it rolling. You made the dance. Now let's play. Let's do this. Chop a penny upside.
Don't you
over
don't you love it when you're like you win by eking out a win that was just
of course
like by 1 point?
Of
Yeah,
course.
man. Those are the everybody loves a smash win where you're just riding crazy point totals to the end of the week. But I mean, sometimes those tough matchups, those close matchups are fun too. I like those. But anyways, next question. Chopper boy, penny upside over Gage and Davis. I'm a 9-point underdog right now. Yes.
Yeah, so let's play the running back and let's hope for the best. We're not getting 2 touchdowns from him. That's not happening. But he can break off big plays. He does have speed, Penny does. And if he should be a decent bet to score. He should be able to get 1. Let's put it that way. He's got to be able to get 1.
I'm not going to say he's not going to get 2, because again, if they have long plays down the field and then just rush it in, he can do that. He's not going to have a game that he had. The game that he had.
He's not going to have a Houston game, but he can still deliver
that's
the goods.
where I'll agree. He's not going to have the game that he had in Houston. He could find his way to 2 touchdowns. He could.
Sure.
There's a route.
Maybe. There's an avenue.
That's the upside that we're kind of hoping for when you're playing him over Gage and Davis as a 9-point underdog. You're hoping
and in standard.
he hits on some short touchdowns and gets you there. So yeah, Penny's a good bet. And B, need 2 of these 3 to start this week in my flex. Gabe Davis, Foreman, Van Jefferson. I have Josh Allen as my QB, by the way.
So play Davis.
Foreman and Davis.
And I would play. Yeah, I would play. I would play the starting running back. I would give me the starting running back, and give me Davis. You can stack with Josh Allen, and give me Donta Foreman, the starting running back for a team that wants to run the ball in a great matchup. I love Van, but he's got to be the odd man out here.
And yeah, a revenge game for Stephon Gilmore guarding Stephon Diggs. So
sure,
Gabe Davis could open up a few more targets this week for Gabe Davis and Dawson Knox.
Could be.
You love your revenge games.
I love revenge game narratives. So yeah, Davis, Foreman, and AB. Yeah, just stay tuned. We will keep the community informed. But we are at the end of the chat, and we got less than an hour to kick off. So John, I think this is a good time to call it personally.
Yes, sir.
Good luck, everybody. Thank you to the 18 of you who are still in here with us, or 16, whatever it is.
Yep.
Hopefully this helps. Let's win those playoff games. Let's move on to the semifinals or finals or whatever your situation is. And let's come back and do this next week. Again, 5 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday. We will be live about 2 hours before kickoff to the Tuesday games. That can be potential start sit help for those last 2 games, or we can just try to look ahead to week 16 with potential waiver pickups, defense streams, QB streams, kicker streams, all that good stuff. Tuesday, 5 p.m. Eastern. But have a good one, guys. Happy Football Sunday.
Thanks to everybody in the chat with the questions. Thanks for everybody who subscribed. Sad J Cutler, thank you for the sub. I know you threw that in there.
Thanks for the
Ray
supers.
Suarez, the supers, everybody in the chat. Y'all are great. And Brandon Williams, thank you. And no, we don't play no favorites, so come in next week and we'll prove it to you. But hey, everybody have a great Sunday. I hope everybody wins their matchup. Again, we're going to keep reiterating that, and we'll see you next week.
Yep. Let's get these wins.
Enjoy your Sunday.